Yeah, we find her, that beautiful girl we've been missing. We wanna have her kissing. We find her, now we in love. So I got so the remix.
DMB, Tux Bites, remix.
Now if I had to lose you like a bad phone connection, I'd change my game to get a better reception. Sit back, let's start this interaction. Don't fight the feelings, just a chain reaction. Your heart won't give you the wrong instructions. Like my GPS, yes, I got the right direction. We gotta merge together like a road intersection. Last stop is gonna be my love and affection. I ain't like the mother dudes, they wanna call you shorty, but I'ma call you a beautiful girl. I took your picture home, my mama saw it, she's a very, very beautiful girl. I wanna put you in my video, cause you're so beautiful. You're a beautiful girl. So when you hear us on your radio, turn up your stereo. It's a beautiful girl.
Gotta find a shorty, what's worth of a lady. It's nice, but maybe doesn't look like 40. It's taking a little time. I wasn't saying no signs. Any traces of my baby? Who's gonna be my baby? But I thought I'm gonna take my time. Within it took a long fine eye. I saw a shorty passing by. She's got this very pretty smile. It was right at the bus station. I tried to make a conversation. Holding her arms, feeling so tough. I felt this sensation. It's been a while that I've been trying to find a beautiful girl. And now I realize I found me a beautiful girl. She's a model, she's so fine. I just wanna take it by. Beautiful girl. Sparkling eyes are killing light. I found me a beautiful girl.
My wish came true when I saw you, girl. God must have blessed me with your beauty, girl. Looking so right from your head to your toe. Shaped like a Coke bottle with a smile of a queen. My queen to be, you my destiny. Got a body of a goddess, such a beauty, I'm impressed. And I'm never in distress. Come on over and be mine. Been searching for a man and now all the cats keep looking to mine. With a sexy walk and a sexy talk, she must be from a planet called the sexy world. I know I ain't tripping, better yet I'm thinking put a ring on the finger, we look good together. Take your place in my heart with your beauty, I'ma say that I'll never turn away. Who would think I'm in love?
So the way she smiles at me just really makes me weak. The way she speaks to me just really make me go so weak. Keep tearing in her eyebrows. All I kept on saying is wow. Your beauty shines and breeze at night. All I really want in my life. Oh yeah. It's been a while that I've been trying to find a beautiful girl. Fine brown eyes. I found me a beautiful girl. She's my model, she's so fine. I just wanna take it. Beautiful girl. Sparkling eyes, killing tight. I found me a beautiful girl. Yeah, beautiful girl. Beautiful girl, yeah. Beautiful girl.
Damn. Money. You seen her? Hot Ice. Have you seen her? LP. Have you seen her? I'ma go over to Tux Bites. I know you've probably seen her. He has a lot of beautiful girls with him. Tux, it's DMB, baby. Look.
Beautiful.
I look for a while, but I can't seem to find a beautiful girl so I can make her mine. Time after time, I've been searching for a while, but every girl I meet never seems worthwhile. What can I do? I pray to God for an answer. I feel pains in my heart like cancer, and when I find her, I'm gonna romance her. Lace several presents and gifts. Call me Santa. Claus, I make a heartbeat pause. That's my girl, homeboy, not yours. The girl of my dreams, she's more than I ever thought. Show me as the picture. I think I'm getting punked. She's what I really want, so I'm a go-getter. Since I'm a go-getter, you know I'm gon' get her. And I will give her the world, anything for my beautiful girl.
Psych. Ooh, it's been a while that I've been trying to find a beautiful girl. Fine, brown eyes. I found me a beautiful girl. She's my model, oh, she's so fine. I just wanna take it, beautiful girl. Sparkling eyes, killing time. I found a beautiful girl.
Girl, it's your love that I've been missing. I miss all your hugs, your touching and kissing. Make love on the floor, the couch in the kitchen. One love enough, we're done enough.
What's up? What's going on? Welcome back. This is Ola coming to you live from my Empire Pro Studios. Interesting. We have let me hold on 1 second. Let me just go ahead and let Auntie B know that I'm live right now, because I don't think she realizes we're live. Let me just play the music. We're live. We have a lot to talk about today. Okay. So let's keep in mind that we're continuing that story that we have from Auntie B's platform. The title today, my wife kicked me out, and I'm calling on Just Pearl Things to come and help us. Okay? But you are probably tired. All right, so yes, welcome everybody. Welcome. Hit that like button as you're coming in. Let's make it a party. Yes, it's an after party. Official after party. Right? All right, welcome back. Yeah, shout out to Angela. Hey Angela, welcome. You were first to be here. But we're gonna have a good time nonetheless. We're gonna cover this crazy story that's on Instagram everywhere, the one that Auntie B just covered. And yes, I'm calling on Auntie Just Pearl Things come and help us, because she did a video. Just in case you don't know who Just Pearl Things is, I will bring you up to speed today, because again, she's a gift that keeps giving, and we will continue to cover this stuff. Let me just make sure I put this properly. Let's see. 1 second. She's a gift that keeps giving, and we will continue to cover this thing. Okay. Whatever she has to say, but we will continue to use real life examples. Something that platforms like hers, they don't do well at. They have a hard time giving us real life examples. They just want to generalize, right? Listen, I'm not going to stop anyone from generalizing. I generalize too, to a large extent. I do, okay, because that's just the human thing to do when you don't have real life examples, right? Or when you're speaking from your own point of view, when you're speaking from your own examples and stuff like that, okay? So let's just keep in mind, so shout out to you if you're 15, one of the 15 people watching me right now. Shout out to you. I appreciate you nonetheless. Right now, today, I just want to do the analysis of this whole thing, this drama. Let me share my screen with you. This drama of this auntie right here. Auntie B is texting me, but I can't reply her right now. This people right here. We're talking about this people's story. This is a very long story, okay? I know you're looking at the title, you're like, what? My wife kicked me out. Yes, it's the same story, right? Again, on those platforms where they generalize, platforms like even Daddy Freeze, right? My wife kicked me out. They hear one side of the story, or they just blanket themselves. Abroad wives are kicking people out. they never get to the bottom of the story. We never really get to hear whatever is going on behind the scenes. So it's a struggle, you know. So yes, today actually, this is what we're talking about today. Stolen men, they're gone forever. The examples that we have today, again, there are many reasons why a man could leave his family. You know, what we're talking about here is not the fact that he left, it's the fact that he left in a very messy way that has now become the trending story today on social media. Okay, so yes, we're talking about the same story, but you know, Auntie Pearl Omabawa Adasi, Pearl is going to contribute to this. She recorded a video. That video is called, let me show you. It's called this video right here. Share this. This video is called I have zero empathy for women. You know, this video right here. She said, I have zero empathy for women, right? And you might be wondering, what does they have to do with each other? Everything, okay? And I'm going to dissect it, okay? We're going to break it down. Again, this is what you're not going to see on other platforms. Real life examples, stories. Now, we have the story today. We just went through it on Atibi's platform. But we also have a lot of the bigger platforms. They are big because they generalize. And they build an echo chamber of people who can relate with their side of the story. But here we're taking our time because, again, in real life, everyone's story is different. At the very minimum, before we assume that it's the same story everywhere, we need to unpack the story, right? And this young lady here, she told she was able, not this one either, but this young lady right here. Let me show you. This lady, not this one. That's the husband snatcher, alleged husband snatcher. Let me show you the one I'm talking about. Let's see. Can I see? Let's see. All right. Let's go here. I'm going to show you the lady we're talking about. We're talking about this young lady right here. She was able to share the story in a very easy to digest way. So I'm going to be reading the story a little bit to you. And I'm going to analyze line by line, maybe paragraph by paragraph, because I don't know how much time exactly. This young lady, beautiful, the dark skin one, the one in green. I'm not talking the one that looks like she has BBL. I'm talking about the one that looks like God made. Okay. All right. So, yeah, so that's her in pink right there. That's a beautiful lady, right? So again, I don't know their full story. I still can't act like I know the full story. Only side of the story we know is hers. But the truth is that I heard an audio on an ATB show just now. I heard the audio, and the guy was actively recording himself. Listen, when you get on these lines on a phone and you start recording, okay, not recording, you're talking to someone on the other line of these lines, these video lines, including this line I'm talking to you right now. And even if I'm not recording myself right now, are you aware that it's being recorded regardless? Or are you that stupid? You don't realize that everything is recorded? Well, a lot of men, I'm sorry, are that stupid. They get angry, they get caught up in their emotions, they start leaving crazy messages for their ex when they're caught up in their emotions. So that one audio was enough for me to say, you know what? I believe a lot of what she's saying. Because clearly, he hasn't been able to maintain himself, maintain his masculine frame, his emotional frame. He hasn't been able to do a good job at doing that. All right. So this young lady, yes, let me make it bigger. That right there, that's what we're talking about. So do me a favor, Sha, let's do some house cleaning. I look and say, why you call Auntie Pearl? You fit Bonham. Now Auntie Paula. I fit Bonham. Now Auntie, she has 1 million subscribers. I get 2,500. It was our Kenny here. 2,400. Now Auntie for now. It's Auntie. She's going to teach us something that we don't know, I guess. But let's see. Shout out to you, Lucan. Let me see. Just do me a favor, okay? As you're coming in, hit that like button, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Yes, I will be talking about our auntie what's her name again? Just Pearl things, because she has something to share with us. Then we will dive into this story, right? I think what she has to share with us will be a very good foundation for what we're saying, and then we will now dive into this to Oyindamola's and Bumi's story. Okay. Here on Men of Prestige, we talk about relationships, power, seduction, attraction, emotional intelligence, patience, and love. If we have time, we'll talk about marriage. It's pointless to talk about marriage when people don't understand those other things. We're in a space right now that, honestly, frankly speaking, about 40 to 50% of people are saying that marriage thing is becoming obsolete. Okay. And I'm speaking to you as a successfully married man for the past 15 years. Okay. I'm very extremely happy. Okay. In my marriage, me personally, you get it. So I'm speaking from context, in that context, but I'm telling you that marriage thing is becoming more and more obsolete because social media is taking over. Social media will take this kind of stories, these are real stories, and will magnify it, and a lot of people are, they are internalizing it and turning it to truth. So we're going to be talking about that today. But before we get into it, hey, hi Kay, Victoria, hello, how you doing? Are you there? Can you hear me?
Yes, hello.
Hey, Victoria, how you doing?
I'm
Are you
fine.
Victoria or IK? Which one?
I'm Victoria.
Oh, you're Victoria. Oh, did you call to Auntie B show just now?
Yes, I did now.
You're Ifeanyiwa, right?
Yes.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm fine.
Good. Do you want to hang out? Because I'm just starting the show, so
Yes.
want to hang out?
Here. Yeah.
Okay, all right, good. So we're going to listen to shout out to Angela. So me personally, but Auntie Pearl is our guy on YouTube right now, so whatever she's saying is powerful. We have tons and tons of very impressionable young men following her. Lame behavior, I know, but it's okay. All right. She's saying something that they can relate with. That's why they're able to follow her. And then some men that have gone through terrible experiences by way of divorce, or they chop premium breakfast in high school and they're having a hard time getting over it. Those kind of men are also following her. So, for example, let me give you an example. So before we play the video, as a matter of fact, let's go into the comment and see what they're saying. I'm going to read some of this for you, so you can understand where we're coming from. We're in a very, very crazy and dangerous place today, okay, because of the power of social media. Social media is such a beautiful thing, right? But it's a double-edged sword. It can be used for bad and evil, right? Like anything that's worthwhile and powerful, including marriage, including even relationship, right? So it's the same thing, right? So we have a Just Pearl. She's 26 years old, white girl. Yeah, she doesn't know what she's talking about, but this is 1.39 million strong human beings paying attention to her, including those that are watching her for trolling. They also have to be careful. I have to be careful because what she's saying is laced with all types of truth, stats, data, facts, and stuff like that. The issue is application, right? In this comment right here, you can see people. Literally, you can see people. I'm going to read them to you and then read a few of them to you so you can know what we're talking about. And I'll read 3 of them to you and then we'll watch the video together. Let me see. Let's see here. Let me pause this. Okay. All right. This one's Andrew Gage says, honestly, it wasn't that bad when I gave up on relationships. So this is a man that has thrown his hand in the air and say, I'm done. Right? But seeing how many of my friends are now divorced and being screwed by the system here in the UK, he's in the UK, right? Western world. I'm glad that I remained single. He's lying. Anybody that feels the need to type this on the internet is cap. Anybody, I repeat, shout out to you, Glamola, I see you. Anybody that will feel the need, for the most part, I'm generalizing, most part, anybody that feels that need to type that on the internet is capping big time.
Stop the cap.
All right. The second one here says, my ex pretty much stole my children from me with similar lies. What are we talking about today? We're talking about my wife. My wife kicked me outside of the house. That's the story you typically hear, right? But we don't hear the other side of it. Or you might hear things like, my husband is a scumbag like all these men out here. That's also a terrible thing to say. But again, social media. Thanks to social media, the only stories we're seeing on the internet is terrible stories. So it's only natural that people will start to generalize and start to blanket everybody together and say we're all the same. No, there's nobody else that's left to do this thing the right way anymore, and it's a lie. But I'm telling you, social media is that powerful that that number will keep growing and growing. Eventually, the whole idea of the marriage or the family structure will crumble and then have to reset all over again. What that would look like is a bunch of kids in the streets that have no sense of identity. They start misbehaving. They will serve premium breakfast randomly, and then they might regret it 10 years later, 20 years later. But before that, Yoruba people talk kile tokbo shika. Yeah. So the casualties is going to be bad over the next few decades. Okay. There is no justice for men in family court, T. Parker says. Okay. He said his ex pretty much stole the children from him, right? If you were present in your children's life, it's highly unlikely that they can be stolen from you. But I understand where you're coming from. If you're not living with them, you're not living in the same household with them, and every time you talk to them, it seems like your wife or your ex-wife has manipulated them because you're caught up in your feelings. You're interpreting what they say with your own feelings, and what happened between you and your ex. It's only natural that you start to say things like they've stolen your children from you, right? But again, nonetheless, I think we can all agree that T. Parker is a powerless man. He's so powerless, he has to listen to a 26-year-old girl for advice. She claims she's not advising people, but yeah, right.
Stop the cap.
I've almost taken my own. He's almost by himself over it more than once. Okay, he's almost deleted himself. It's a horrible experience. It's been over 10 years and I'm still dealing with it. You see, he's telling us his own side of the story, but in one liner, two liners, three lines, right? The reason why I'm going to believe Oyindamola more if this were husband and wife is because she told us the full story, which I'm going to analyze here in a second. Okay, that's why. But anytime people are running one-liner generalization, they're not necessarily intentionally lying, but they're effectively lying. Okay, but they're speaking from a bad experience. Your experience is not necessarily the truth. It's just how you perceived things. It's just your perception of what happened, right? And sometimes you will tell yourself lies long enough, you will believe it, and you will intentionally perpetuate evil even to your own children. Listen, what the other part that I was going to say before Auntie B couldn't hear me on the show anymore was that, we're holding this man accountable, which I did, right? But there were two other women, at least in that story, involved, right? Outside of Oyindamola, there was the actual girl who snatched the husband, right? And there's the mother, right? There's at least two. And I guarantee you there's probably another 3 or 4 or 5 who was digging into the story, right? But let's just leave it at that. This is why you can't generalize even along the gender lines. Because at the end of the day, it takes two to tango. At least it takes a man and a woman to help create this story we are covering today, right? But of course, just Pearl thinks it's just men. Sorry, it's just women. Because what is the title of this video? She has zero sympathy for women. She will tell us why in a second, okay? But this guy says it's been over 10 years and I'm still dealing with the repercussions. He's in YouTube comments looking for healing. Can you find healing? Lie. It's impossible, right? It's impossible. Not from a 26-year-old girl who doesn't know what she's talking about. It's impossible, right? I'm still dealing with repercussions of that time in my life. I'll never get married again, ever. Lies. If lies, he needs to stop the cap too, right?
Stop the cap.
If he stumbles into a Just Pearl is not the best looking girl. No shots, no nothing. I'm just saying, she's not the best looking girl. Period. Right. But anyway, if this guy stumbles into a Just Pearl, right? Because it's simple for Just Pearl right now on this chat, right? And she rubs the back and say, you know what, I'm in love with you. There's a good chance he won't want Just Pearl because Just Pearl is pandering to men. Men don't want women who pander to them. Just so you know, let's be clear. Men generally they don't like women who pander to them. Just so you know. Okay. Anyway, story for another day. Anyway, I'll never get married again. He's lying. Okay. This is the kind of guy that will end up in a strip club and spend his whole salary on a girl because he continues to crave for a woman who would just fall out of the skies, be feminine, and start falling in love with him. And if somebody's going to charge him $100 to get that done, he will do it. He's lying. He's capping big time. Like the rest of them. The rest of this chat, okay? If you look here, the rest of this chat, 959 comments, okay? How many people have watched this video? 28,000. This video went viral in the last few hours. It was 13,000 when I saw it a few hours ago, right? We're in trouble as a society, okay? We're in trouble because social media, I'm here, I'm using it, right? But it's going to take time because I'm looking for a balance for you as a person so that you can understand how to use this in your personal life and don't buy into the generalizations, okay? There are women and there are men who are doing what this guy, Oyindamola's husband did, okay? They're everywhere, okay? They're just not still the majority, but it might end up being majority if we keep having people like Just Pearl go viral. And I can't stop her. She's getting money. It is what it is. She goes viral because she knows how to. She's a hell of a marketer. Okay. So, but let's talk about it. But before we do that, before we get into that story, because I'm going to analyze that story really well here. Let me see here. I have hey Chinye, welcome Chinye. We have a live today. We could have a live randomly. Turn on your notifications. Turn on your notifications. So, snatchy, mothers, disgraceful. Yes. So don't worry. One day she will collect. Everybody go collect in this matter. Even the children. Sadly. Yep. The children not going to get away with this. They're going to remember some of this and it's going to affect how they look at relationships in the future. Even if they are the best of human beings. Because they're humans, it'll cast a shadow, some kind of filter on how they see life, you know. I would like to know why they don't like women who pander to them. Are they scared that they would eventually show their true colors? No, it's more at an attraction level. It's not an attraction. It's not when you don't have to work for it. If it's readily available, we're not attracted to it. It's not just men. It's just generally speaking. Okay, human beings in general, they take anything that's readily available for granted. But hey, Victoria, are you there? You have any opinions so far? Make a collect time before I continue. You can unmute. You're muted. Okay, so she's probably just listening. Anyway, let's keep going. Let me play this Just Pause and then let's play that and then we'll remember we're talking about my wife kicked me out. We're reversing it. This is how they tell the story. Eventually this guy is going to run around the internet and say my wife kicked me out because at some point in the story the lady said I couldn't fathom him coming back to the house. He was in Nigeria hanging out with committed bigamy, okay, married another wife entirely, okay. He's been dating this woman for years, basically lying to his wife. Listen, I'm not here to judge your morals, but what I'm saying is that if you are lying, cheating, and stealing, you will collect. This is real life, right? It's an active marketplace, and if you're going to behave like that, you should expect that there are consequences for it. It's not a matter of judging, it's just how life works, right? So he clearly does not get that, you know. But yes, I think today is the day where the link is pinned to the top. But just listen to me, right? Listen to me. Let's dissect this slowly, you know. She said, Just Proud is starting to collect now. This is the third. We might keep covering her. She's huge. She's big. Just Proud things no be anybody's mate. So we have to keep covering it, especially that the videos are responding well. Okay? But I won't be talking about the racism stuff because I don't have direct experience with that per se. So I'm not going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about everything she has to say about relationships and court of law and custody, courts, and all that kind of stuff. We need to destroy all of that because there's 600 plus people, 900 plus human beings in this particular comment that most of them are agreeing with her. So what that means is I don't want to discount the experience of those people. Those people have some kind of experience that's making them relate with what a 26-year-old girl has to say. And what's going to happen is that they will collect even more woto. That's what's going to happen. Okay? Just Pearl can't help these people. She can't help them. Okay? All right? Now, I'm going to offer my insights. I'm going to offer some balanced perspectives. I'm going to add context to what she has to say because she's just spewing facts, data, nonsense, and she's making unnecessary, not unnecessary. She's making retarded assumptions from them. Okay, that's what's going on. Okay. Regarding to kids, I'm so sad for how this will affect them. Yes, that's just life. That's just their own. That's just what they're going to have to deal with in life. That's just life. It's just reality of life, right? So, but let's go ahead and play some of this. How many minutes are we in? Oh, quite a bit. I guess it's going to take a minute for today. But let me refresh this and then let's get going. Let's see what she has to say. And then we'll take it from there. This video was released about 8-10 hours ago. Okay.
Try this weird 30-second after dinner method to restore healthy sugar levels.
What's going on? Let's see. Okay.
Before I start, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell. That way you're going to be notified of my daily videos. Like the video on your way in. Let's get started.
The title of this video says, I have zero sympathy for women.
I know a lot of you miss the curls. In all honesty, I don't know how to curl my hair. If anyone does it, it's my friend. She'll come over here and do it. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not that smart when it comes to hair.
Fair use.
I need to get better, though, because I am in entertainment, so whatever. All right, anyways, so the most common, I think, criticism I get is that I'm either playing dumb, I am dumb, and I have no real depth to my opinion. So I want to tell you about the opinion I don't feel bad for women and where that opinion came from and why I think that. So in life, and myself as a woman, I've made choices that have had certain outcomes. And every outcome that I've had is my own fault. And I have to say.
So what is she saying? She's made certain choices and it's become her own fault. There's a lot of people like this because they consider themselves accountable. They cast this as an expectation on other people and it goes way over. So it's like an overshooting, right? And it's not wise to do that, right? If you're a person who you consider yourself a stand-up person and you try your best to hold yourself accountable, when you attempt to hold other people accountable, you might be overshooting because you might be overshooting beyond unrealistic expectations. Because even at a biometric level, right? No two human beings are equal, right? So if you're not listening at all to the other side of any equation, and all you want to do is use your own moral standards to judge, you are not a powerful person. If anything, you're just you can get some clouds. That's about it. But long term, it will collapse. It can't last. Okay. So she just said that clearly. You're like, I'll hold myself accountable. But whatever she said, I'm paraphrasing.
That opinion came from and why I think that. So in life, and myself as a woman, I've made choices that have had certain outcomes. And every outcome that I've had is my own.
She's made certain choices that has certain outcome, right? Well, sure. But listen to her closely. She will say nothing about emotional aspect of things. She will say nothing about our social construct, the society we live in, right? She will basically regurgitate old data. Yes, the data that was recorded last minute is old now, right? Especially more so now than ever before, where social media is a big force that we don't really exactly know the impact yet. We don't know the impact it has on humanity yet, right? But let's keep going.
Own fault. And I have to say that I've had a choice in that. Now, as a man,
I've had a choice in that. Tap myself on the back. I've had a choice in that. Self-accountability. Lori Raw, let's continue.
As a man, what choice do you have?
She said as a man, but she's a woman.
Now,
but okay.
You either deal with women or you don't deal with women. Those are your only two choices to be safe. Now I know what you're thinking. Well, just pick the right girl. I want to tell you about
Just pick the right girl. Just pick a good woman. Pick the right wife. Remember that Denzel Washington advice, right? She's going to discount it, or she's going to attempt to discount that, right? Let's keep going, right?
Interview I did yesterday with this man.
She said you pick, you deal with woman, you don't deal with woman. There's nothing in between. Remember that. These are lame talks. Just keep in mind, these are lame talks, right? Context. Stay with me. Context matters.
That has been involved in the court system in the UK. And he explained to me the system that they go through here. Oh my gosh, someone's calling me. Okay.
Hey, Jesse BJ. Welcome.
So the first thing that women do when they want to leave a marriage is they go to a general practitioner or a teacher. And what they'll do there is they might say, oh,
she started from when a woman wants to leave a marriage. We're going to give her the benefit of doubt. Maybe eventually she would tell us Oyinda type of story. What happened before a woman gets to a space where she wants to leave a marriage? What happened before a man gets into a space where he deems it that he can get away, he thinks he can get away with marrying another wife entirely in Nigeria? There's a backstory to that too, right? There's going to be a backstory to it. It's just that I don't think a healthy man will completely say, let me go and divide my life up recklessly, right? Without, like, if I'm going to marry another human being entirely, throw a whole big old party with hashtags and stuff, and have a whole family here, like, that's not adding up. Like, damn, you hate your life that much? Jesus Christ. But anyway, there's backstories to all of this. But people like Pearl, they never tell us the rest of the backstory. They just want to tell us about the moment that 80% of women that initiate divorce decide to initiate divorce. They just want to tell her from there. But let's allow her to tell her what she knows at the age of 26, talking like this. Because I know a 21-year-old woman who can think better than this. I'm sorry, I know some of them. If you remember the beginning here, she said two things that she's accused of.
I do my makeup and my hair. Video on your way in. Let's get. Honestly, I don't know how to curl my hair. Really. Oh, because I am in entertainment, so whatever. All right. Anyways, so the most common, I think, criticism I get is that
the criticism she gets. Plain dumb.
And I have no real depth to my opinion.
Plain dumb. She is dumb and she has no real depth. I agree with the no depth. I agree with that. No depth at all. That's pretty much all I'm critiquing her for. Plain dumb. I don't think she's plain dumb. Dumb? Questionable. Let's keep going. Let's keep going.
I want to tell you about the opinion. I'm
swiping back forward.
We're Closet Factory. We turn them.
See how she's making so much money. Shout out to her. Congratulations for her YouTube channel. But these talking points we have to destroy as they're coming along.
You've been abused, okay? Go to a general practitioner or teacher.
Remember, when women want to file divorce, right? That's where she's at.
So the first thing that women do when they want to leave a marriage is they go to a general practitioner or teacher. And what they'll do there is they might say, oh, you've been abused, okay? So then they're referred to a women's aid shelter. And what happens at the women's aid shelter is they teach them.
They just jump straight to, oh, you've been abused. There's no story. For every woman, what is she going to say later on in this video? Like, believe every woman's story, right? This is talking point. This layman's talking point. She's repeating it, right? Believe every woman's story. I don't believe every woman's story, so I don't know where you got that from. Again, no depth. Just like the men she'd been listening to and she's helping them push that message forward. There's no depth to the conversation. Let's go. Now, she's talking about when they get to shelter and they put them in shelter, all the resources that women have. Yes, it's true. Women have a lot of resources available if they end up homeless and stuff that men don't have, right? Why men built the society. Okay, it's the reality, right? So why? So why was that the case? Well, I'm guessing it has to do with the society was built to protect the vulnerable, children and women, right? And as many people as they can for everybody else. Nobody cares about men. These are part of their talking point, right? Is it nobody cares about men, or men happens to be the leader of the society? Which one of it? I don't know. You answer.
How to secure the children and the finances. And they have a whole blueprint.
Secure the children and the finances. Why finances? Well, we need money to keep securing the children if they were used to a certain lifestyle.
Ready to go, waiting. Now, I know what you're thinking. That can't be true. Well, if he's of Indian descent, India, they don't respect women there. Women don't have rights. And everything I had to do the last...
What does this have to do with all the Nigerian and Jamaican ladies that Pearl interviews in the UK? What does Indian descent, all that crap has to do with this? No, like girls like Esther, all these Nigerian girls that are on her show. Nothing. No, she's going to justify points with nothing, essentially. Who is talking about Indian people in the Yankee Cherokees or all this kind of... Nobody's talking about those kind of people. But let's see what she has to say about that.
10 years was coercive control. Now, what is coercive control?
Wait, go back.
And everything I had to do the last 10 years was coercive control. Now, what is coercive control?
So a woman will say it's coercive control. I've been under the control and the spell of this man, right? We hear those kind of stories. Those are the stories that make it to social media all the time, right? This is what a woman will say. Let's see what Auntie Pearl has to say about that.
It's damn near anything that is used to control a woman, which in a marriage, I mean, on some level, you are controlled. I mean, you have to be.
That's a lame talk. You don't have to ever use control in a relationship between a man and a woman. Okay? Even the ancient stories that we know upon, they don't use control. It's stupid. It's lame. What you want to focus on is influence. Power and influence, okay? Control, you're talking about a war zone, okay? Which happens too. But clearly you have to come back to negotiating, right? Using power of influence, you're still going to have to come back to that. You just have to destroy. You have to destroy a lot of people. There will be casualties everywhere. And then you still have to come back to the table and renegotiate. Understand your values that you bring to the table. Understand that the value, that's the person you're trying to engage with, they also bring some kind of value, right? Obviously, because if they didn't bring any value, you wouldn't be there in the first place, right? There's some kind of value. It's just oftentimes we don't pay attention to it. Like, no, I'm here because I deserve to be here. This was my right. Most people are talking about their right until somebody takes their right away and everybody's in the poto, right? Whereas in life, human relationship, interpersonal relationship is always a privilege. Okay, maybe not, but at your mindset, you want to think of it like that because then you get to nurture it. You get to take care of it. You get to give as much as you can give into it because you understand it's going to come right back at you for the most part. But what do people do? They start competing with each other, right? Control. I bet she's going to say, oh, but I meant leadership. No, you didn't mean leadership. This is just how your brain works. It's just your husband controlling the wife. That's terrible strategy at best. Even outside of a marriage, it's a terrible strategy. It doesn't work. But words, right? But they're the same one that will claim that words are important, right? But then it's confusing at best.
Control a woman, which in a marriage, I mean, on some level, you are controlled. I mean, you have to be.
On some level, you are controlled. There are men that feel like their wife is controlling them. If you get into a space in your mind as a man, you feel like your wife is started to control. Maybe she said, do this, do that. Why didn't you pay that bills yesterday? Babe, they cut off the light yesterday. Babe, and they were like, why is she controlling? See, it's your feelings, right? All you have to do is change something in your mindset. It's like, maybe I could do something a little bit better so she doesn't have to be on the edge anymore. It's just mindset. It's not really the words. It's not the semantics. It's just your mindset. Okay, maybe, just maybe I can get caught up in my emotions too as a man sometimes. Okay, let me relax. Let me help my wife feel a little bit more safe. Let me make her feel like she can trust me with the bills a little bit, right? Or paying back the loans. What did this young man do? He went and collected loans, according to the story. Allegedly collected loans to go and start businesses in Nigeria, right? And then only to go and marry another person entirely and lie to the whole family here, right? These are parts of the story that just probably is not going to tell us. Let's see if she managed to tell us something in about 6 minutes. Let's see.
There's two people's minds in the household. You have to make decisions. So
because you have to make decisions, there are two people, there has to be control, right? Now, you might say, but Ola, she meant leadership. But let me tell you something. Those words are powerful. They will drive how you think about life. They will drive your perspective on life. They will drive the strategies you choose to use in life, right? Why would anybody, any husband, feel the need to say, but yeah, we're kind of controlling? Well, leadership, yes. leadership, servant. Why is it that in this new generation, even in the corporate world, they're talking more about servant leadership and not stupid control? What are you, dumb? It's 2023. Oh, by the way, even in 1967, the smartest, the most powerful of them, they didn't use control. That's not how it worked. It might look like that on the surface because people depend on you, but it's never that, okay? Influence. There's a difference between control and you have influence. There's a difference between I can tell my wife and say, babe, I don't want to work tomorrow. I'll just sit at home, but babe, I don't want to go to that party tomorrow. And she's like, why not? And she's like, you okay? Everything is okay? Or say, babe, you can't go to that party tomorrow. Or you can say, hey, babe, that party tomorrow, do we have to go? No, why do you say that? I'm kind of sort of feeling some type of way. Why? Because she had been measuring my spirit. She had been already aligning with me and said she could tell that I wasn't interested. So she was just kind of waiting for it. We're kind of like in tune like that from time to time, that she could tell that, you know what? How do I know? Because it happens from time to time. We just be like, forget that. Let's just stay at home. We'll send a gift or something, right? That's influence. When you can almost finish each other's sentences. Control, you can't go to that party. How's that working out for you? It's not working out. Because what do? You end up going and marry another girl. Some girl that's for the streets in Nigeria who doesn't care about life. They care about nothing. They don't care about losing anything. They will take everything away from you eventually. Directly or indirectly. But you can't see that. Why? This woman needs to stay under control. Why? Because Just Proud said it. Let's keep going.
Now, the thing about the UK is that here, you can call the police to get, you only get counsel which is like a lawyer for free, if you were abused. So, what do? They call the police. And in 2013, when they passed this, there was federal aid for abuse. Abuse cases went up by 200%. And I think the town was Coventry alone, okay? Then, so they call the police. Now, mind you, the women can do this with zero evidence. So a man could just be living his life, having a good time. And what happens? Before he knows it, he has a restraining order. They call it a non-molestation.
Before he knows it, he has a restraining order. Up to now. Okay, just give them to me. Let me ask them questions. I haven't seen a man who just woke up one day. I'm sure they exist. There are exceptions. Who just woke up one day and he just saw a restraining order. Nothing happened. There's no stories behind it. They just woke up one day. They didn't marry another wife in Nigeria entirely for a whole year without telling the wife that's here in America. Right? They just woke up one day and there's just a restraining order there. She's just evil. She kicked me out of the house. We never get the backstory, right? Shout out to my brother here. I wanted to say hello. Skip my mind real quick. What up, Sir Hill? Good to see you, man. Jesse says she isn't dumb, but is intentionally playing dumb to avoid being accountable later in the future. She knows her words will come back to hurt her. She does. That's the same thing as Oyindamola's husband. Why would you want to just hurt yourself for no reason? Why? Because for money, I will get, if there's money, like she's making money, I get that motive. But you didn't mention money at all, right? What is the motive? I don't get it. The woman says, I can't believe I used to be her friend. I'm sad for myself. Don't be sad for yourself. It's okay. Again, there's nothing she's saying that's exact lies. They are truth, right? It's just application and interpretation. That's lame, dumb, and no depth to them. No experience at best. Okay? Is this live or pre-recorded? Eyontemi D-Love. You know I miss you. Where have you been? All right? Turn your notifications. It could be live anytime. I told you this already. All right? It could be live anytime. Anytime. I could be live anytime. Thanks my sister MOP. Don't confuse me. Sorry. He gave us heads up. I did. I said during the weekdays, I did. Thank you, Jared. You end up in McDonald's. Yes. This one, the panda bear bar. Panda bear. Shout out to Sir Hill. Sir Hill, I've been paying attention, but Lord help us with Auntie Pearl. Why do people listen to this girl? Because she's speaking truth that a lot of people can relate with. Just no death, no backstory, but she's speaking like the end of the story. A lot of people can relate to what she's saying. A lot of people do feel like they woke up one day and there was just, but it's feelings, because it's not truth. If you calm down and pay attention and do and count your blessings, count your behaviors, there's a good chance that there are things that were happening that one day she might file a restraining order against you. Like, for example, you have a bunch of ikoko in the house and all this diabolic stuff, and all, she might file a restraining order. She might start to say she doesn't feel safe. Nigerian people, okay, you brought something from your grandmother or some kind of uncle and stuff like that, and then you end up in a bad space in that marriage, and that stuff in the corner, she might pull them out and say, hey, all this diabolical juju stuff, I don't know what they are, I don't feel safe. There's this other woman who he's married to on the other end, right? I'll tell you the story in a second. We'll get into the story in a second here, okay? Hit that like button, I beg. Ade, shout out to Ade. Say, I once listened to her on one of these mainstream channels and I turned off. I feel like she always takes men's sides and her views are not always balanced. Just my opinion. Yes, there's a struggle. I think that's an understatement. Balance, I don't think she cares about balance. I think she's very deliberate that this is not about balance. She says in this title of this video says, I have zero sympathy for women. And she's explaining why, okay? She's explaining why to us right now, basically. Hit that like button, I beg. Hit that like button. I appreciate you, okay? I'll be right back. All right, welcome back. So now let's talk about this young lady. I'll come back to Auntie Pearl. She's still telling us why she has zero sympathy for women. Women just wake up one day and just want to ask for divorce. The stat says that 80% of divorces are initiated by women, 90% by college-educated women. So she has zero sympathy for women because women have everything they need in life, right? And they have no reason to complain. They're not the one that end up in shelter sometimes, but she's still trying to make a case for it. But let's go to Oyindamola. Shout out to Oyindamola. She shared some crazy stories, okay, that I feel like we need to cover. This is Oyindamola right here. And again, wife kicked me out of the house. Why? We never hear the backstory. Wife kicked me out. That's terrible. I brought women of the Western world. They're just kicking their husbands out willy-nilly. Now, is there an increasing number of people kicking their husband out? Yes. Is there a reason for it? Yes. What should we do, gentlemen? Pay a little bit closer attention to the reasons why. You don't have to wait until it's your story, because it seems to be, it's always like a shocking surprise when it happens to men. Okay, men never see divorce coming. They never see the woman acting out of space. They never see it coming. They are just oblivious. Like, what happened? We're having such a good time. Having a good time. I've been telling you to do this for this year. You did this 3 years ago. You did it 5 years ago. 8 years ago. Remember when I told you? I was like, what? I thought we settled that matter, right? Of course, they never see it coming. Okay, I've been there, done that. I know. Okay, we never see it coming. Okay, so that's why we're having this conversation. So let's go through this story. This young lady, she decided that she was going to tell her story. I want to read some of them to you. Hopefully we'll get through them. It's kind of long, but she gave us backstories. She did. Okay, she gave us tons of backstories. Okay, so let's go through this one. This is the first one. I'm going to read to you. I'm just going to read. I'm reading the stuff you're looking at on the screen. In a life, and I quote, Honey Babe is her name. Oyindamola. Honey Babe. Oyin in Yoruba is. You get it? If you don't get it, forget about it. Anyway, in a life that now feels like a distant memory, I basked in the warmth of what I believe to be a happy family. I was blissfully unaware of the storm brewing beneath the surface. Until July 1st, 2022. That's just last year's summertime. It's less than a year ago. I don't think she's over it exactly yet. That's very fresh. Okay. When my world came crashing down, on that fateful day, I discovered my husband, since 2010, he's disabled as page, it looks like, had secretly married another woman, Treasure 1989. She's changed the username to something else multiple times, so don't try to go there for obvious reasons, right? The shocking revelation left me reeling as I tried to comprehend how this could have happened right under my nose. For 12 long years, I had been married to a man I thought I knew inside and out. Auntie Pearl, just that alone will give you a little bit of a better perspective. You're 26. I don't blame you for not knowing what you don't know. Right? Listen, I don't blame you for not having the capability at 26. 26 is a grown-ass woman, by the way. Let me just stop the cap all the way. Nah. I need to stop saying that. 26 is a grown...
Stop the cap.
That's a grown-ass woman. Okay? No excuse. No excuse. Okay? Auntie Pearl is going to help us out today because another man has cried out. My wife kicked me out. Right? Daddy Freeze can come and help us. Maybe Daddy Freeze can come and help us. Yeah, right. Daddy Freeze like, this woman, don't become a nurse. So if you become a nurse, you will do the same thing to your husband. No be juju be that. I beg you. Shout out to D-Love. D-Love, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for always supporting the platform. You know what time it is. Yay! Shout out to Zazu. I'm a baboon. I live in the.
Wala Nigeria don't report so at you cause I will call you. Wala.
I'm still trying to figure out why he's yelling like that, but Jesus Christ. I thought I knew inside and out. Little did I know that the person I had devoted my life to had been living a double life. You might think you're shocked now, but brace yourself because there's more to this twisted tale of betrayal and heartbreak. Break fast. Premium. This one is not premium. This one's another level entirely. Global breakfast. As I began to investigate further, I noticed layers upon layers of lies, while one more disturbing than the last. And then, as if the emotional turmoil wasn't enough, I found myself facing a new and chilling threat. Somebody said, "Ola, but this is the point she was making. Always believe the woman first." Listen, she really has to be a good storyteller to tell this as a lie. But I'll tell you who is more likely to tell me a lie without knowing people that are regurgitating facts, stats, data, truth, their own version of the truth, right? Those ones are capable of telling me a lie without even knowing they're telling me a lie. And yes, they could still be stating facts. How? Because this is life. There's layers. Like she said, there's layers. And for somebody to be wise enough to say, to lay it out like this and tag people, and there's evidences of pictures and stuff like this, you can take one or two things out of this story without saying, oh, she must be telling the truth. I don't know if she's telling the complete truth. She's narrating the story from her own perspective too. But I believe her. You get it? I believe her. Why? Because she's given me enough layers, no debt. That thing they're accusing Auntie Pearl of not having, some debt to this. Now we can say, it's not exact precise. Shout out to TLA. It has to be precise. No, we don't care for that. We're human beings. We don't have to see precise before we can relate and say, you know what? I believe you. I believe you doesn't equal to its truth or fact or stat or data, but there's a high likelihood that we can align and see, yeah, it's connecting the dots. Let's see if it connects. You get to be the judge today anyway. Malicious online trolls targeted me with a barrage of hateful messages, making me fear for my safety. But even more sinister were the native juju charms. Voila! You see, the juju charm thing, obviously I can't speak too much to that because juju not juju. Don't be juju be that. Obviously, I can't speak too much to that because people, listen, when you go through what Oyindamola has gone through, you will start to see all kind of craziness, even in your dream, even sleepwalking. Potentially, you can go crazy, right? What crazy? Yeah, you didn't know that? Mental health is involved.
How did you be that?
Pause. Mental health is involved. This can get a person to go mad. Okay? Anyway, let's keep going. I couldn't shake the feeling that my life was in danger, and I knew that I had to fight back to protect myself from unseen forces. You fight not the flesh. This is, where you can see that a lot? In entrepreneurship and relationships. If you really want to know what that means, right? People think it's about juju. Is this spiritual witchcraft that's flying at night? No. Inside of relationship, you will know what it means that you're not fighting flesh. That means, things that Antipara will not know. You're not fighting tangible. For the most part, that's not what you're fighting. Things like TLA may not know, because TLA is balanced small, you're not fighting tangible stuff like divorce courts, custody battle. The majority of what you're battling is inside here, right? And with respect to the fact that you're dealing with another human being that you have no idea what created them, right? You have no idea their source. Many of you are married to people that you've never been to their village before. Yeah. Somebody's like, yeah, that's me. Yeah. I know. Anyway. Anyway, let's keep going. I'll take you on an emotional roller coaster. That was my journey to uncover the truth and confront the threats that loomed over me. You'll feel the pain of betrayal, the anger at being deceived, only to have her life turned upside down in the blink of an eye. Somebody is in the chat, but this happens to men too. You're right. That's why you're wrong for generalizing for more than half the time that you're doing that. But we're talking about this story today, okay? Okay, Auntie Pearl, is that okay? I know you were supposed to come and teach us, but it looks like there's not much there that you can share with us. But the first time I encountered the other woman, Bumi, my husband and I, Bumi Amara, are you here? As they were just saying Bumi, I started to be stop. Bumi is here. Like, stop saying that. Jesus Christ. Anyway, Bumi, my husband and I were in Dubai, April 2022, and soaking up the sun and enjoying what I thought were moments of marital bliss. One evening, as we were on a video call with our kids back in the USA, a message popped up on his phone. It read, "Every time I see her pictures, it makes me sad." Ha!
Not be juju be that.
Isn't that crazy? Right? Well, would she make up that story? Did she make up that story? Right? Well, if she made up that story, that's a hell of a storyteller. I doubt it. Okay? Listen, come on. All I want from the gentleman is that if you say somebody kicked you out of the house, you need to be able to give me a full-blown story like this. They do exist, by the way. But half the time, the loudest ones they're just full of it. Okay? They're just full of it. Okay? Wala. Yeah, Bumi's friends are the trolls, right? Okay, so some trolls decided. They look like they have a certain type of lifestyle from some of the videos. But anyway, let's keep going here. My heart skipped a bit, and I couldn't help but question him about the message. My husband brushed it off, saying it was a girl from his past who had been harassing him. he denied knowing her or having any sort of relationship with her. Okay, so let's see if we can find the rest. Here we go. Before we continue into the rest, let's just pay some bills, and I'll be right back. Because this story. All right, so thank you so much. We're low on likes. Please help me hit that like button. Thank you so much. Hit that like button. Thank you. I need about 6 more people to hit the like button if you're getting value from this. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Let's keep going right here. So again, we're talking about this young lady, Oyindamola, who is the one in green. Okay. And the husband snatcher, alleged husband snatcher, is the one in red. Okay. She's the one the new wife. She's the one with the illegal marriage. That's what it's called. But let's keep going. She continues. She said, I wanted to believe him, but deep down, I knew something wasn't right. I cried my eyes out, feeling betrayed and helpless. Okay. Can we believe this? Yes. Upon returning to USA, I couldn't shake the feeling that I needed to do something about the situation. So for people that say, hey, so you can sleep with each other, but you can't check each other's phone, this is usually the backstory of that conversation. You can't run around the social media street asking people to show their phone without telling us the backstory of why you feel that way. A lot of you feel that way because of this kind of experience. There is a reason. Okay? There's a reason why you have a sudden need to dig through another person's phone. Sudden need. Maybe it has nothing to do with this present relationship. Maybe it has to do with your past experience. But there's a reason. We need to acknowledge that. It's all I'm saying. Okay? So if a woman has gone through this, it only makes sense to her now that she wants to go through the phones and dig in even beyond. And if she doesn't find anything in the phone, do you think she has peace of mind? No. Remember, I kept saying that. She still won't have peace of mind, right? She's still looking for peace of mind. This is almost a year later, right? Because if she has peace of mind, she won't be posting this on the internet. She's still looking for some sort of validation somehow, some way. Maybe she needs to do this because it's eating her up inside. Sometimes you just need to speak out, right? But it's just part of the journey. It doesn't get you to the solution, right? Anyway, so she continues, and I quote, I decided to voice my concerns. Let's go back. I couldn't shake the feelings that I needed to do something about the situation. With a heavy heart, I decided to voice my concern to my husband's parents. However, their response was I should put my mind at rest, that he would never do such a thing. His mother insisted that the lady was merely a business partner, but my husband quickly silenced her from revealing any more. Okay, so it makes sense to me that they might not want to be all the way through much in the story until, they probably were in fear as well. But yes, some people will back their children too. But I believe that majority of the time it's really none of their business. You really think about it. If a man is this reckless and they will go to Nigeria and marry a completely total stranger, and the people that he comes back and he feels safe enough to lay his head next to a person he's offended, not afraid that you can get deleted overnight if she stumbles into some, like that crazy text message that popped up. See how reckless that is, right? So when you say a woman or a man bring disease out to the household for you, he puts you in danger. So I want you to understand that it's because internally he doesn't really care about life anymore too. Right? He might think he cares about life, but he's moving so reckless. I don't think he values life that as much as he should. I think he's taking life for granted. Let's say it that way, right? He thinks he's not in a good place. He might be quoting it and covering it up with just making it look a certain way. But a man who would do that has no respect for himself. Shout out to you, Rebecca. I see you, Rebecca. Hello. All right. So this is a man who lacks self-respect. I know you probably don't want to hear this because you just want me to hear he say that he's wrong. It's clearly wrong, but he has no self-respect. He can't respect you if he doesn't have self-respect. He has no respect to offer you. He gets it. Make sense? No, none. Right? He deems it like, oh, let me travel to Nigeria. Let me just go and get some kerewa. Men that will travel to Nigeria because of kerewa. There's kerewa in every corner here if that's what you want. But men that will feel the need to do all of that, spend all that money, go spend all that money on random chicks that they don't really know. That kind of man has no self-respect. So he can't offer you anything. Okay? The other side of it is that if you know these things and you stay in that situation perpetually with this kind of person after you've known, there's a good chance that his lack of respect has eaten your own self-respect up completely. Like you don't have self-respect either, right? So it's like, she's not going anywhere, so I might as well just stay, right? And what would Just Pearl say? What would Just Pearl say? Let's see what Just Pearl will say really quickly before we continue. Because Just Pearl is a special guest here today that she's kind of telling us some things that we don't necessarily know about how these things work. Let's see what Auntie Pearl has to say.
Station order here. And they can lock you up with zero evidence.
They can lock you up with zero evidence. No scratches on anybody's neck, nothing like that. They just look at you, they say you're a man. We're locking you up. Right? Oh, I get it. But hola, sometimes these women will scratch themselves. I get it. But you're still not telling me the backstory. How did you get into this space? You are the man, you're the leader. I hope that you're the leader. If you're not the leader, then that's a different conversation altogether. But from the way Just Pearl is talking, it sounds like she's talking about people who consider themselves leaders, right? Sometimes they come into your household on a Saturday morning. It's the weekend. They see scratches on the boy. They see scratches on the mother. Yes, she might have scratched herself in throwing each other around, whatever, right? So they say, you know what? It's gonna be Monday morning before we bring you out. We're gonna have to lock you up. Unfortunately, maybe she's in a space where she went mad too, crazy, and she's like, no, I feel unsafe. Remember that story? I feel unsafe, and they said, well, she doesn't feel safe. We can't take the chances. We have to lock you up until Monday morning, and then the judge will listen to your story, and what do? Let me run to the internet and tell them that they locked me up for no reason. What happens? Just Pearl things when she was 21 years old, 22, 3 years old, which is still a grown-ass woman, will be hiding in the comments and say, oh, my shield, that's not fair for this man. It's so not fair to this man. This is terrible. I have zero sympathy for women. Never mind everything that got them into that weekend in the first place. It's pointless. There's no need. Just hold her accountable. She should never have to call the cops on her husband. We don't need to know that. Let me tell you something. This is the best way to do it, gentlemen. If you're in this kind of position, if you feel like you might be in this position ever, you call the cops first. Before you end up in a tussling each other back and forth to the point where you might end up in jail, you call it's okay. Call the cops first. Okay? But what if they lock her up? Listen, if they lock her up, that's probably because she deserves it. Okay? She's probably all over the place and messy too. Usually, like she said, she's right. But for the most part, they will believe the woman anyway. Right? So there's a high chance that she's not going to go to jail. But if there's marks all over your body and the cop says, no, this is not okay. God help her. And she encountered a cop who is a member of the manosphere. She might end up in jail that day, right? But listen, what I'm telling you is that this idea that is bullshit. You need to call the cop first. If things are that bad in your marriage, you need to be calling the cop first. This is how you fix it. You don't fix it by hanging out in Just Pearl's comments 10 years later and talking about, listen, I have all kind of empathy for what you've gone through, but it's not good for anybody for you to keep running around the internet, around the world, enjoying the idea of hating women unknowingly, unintentionally. No, I just want to be masculine. No, you're full of shit. You're feminine at best. Let's keep going.
Okay. And typically you go to court and the judge has to stamp it. And typically the judge just stamps it. Because when there's a crying woman, I mean, who doesn't believe that? Okay. Then, during this time, he's slapped with child support. So now, he can't see his kids because of the restraining order. On top of that, he has to pay a bunch of money in child support. His wife left him. And he doesn't have any friends because the entire community thinks he's an abuser. Now, mind you.
Okay, so let's get back to the backstories that Just Pearl will never tell us, right? Let's get back to that, Let's get back to the backstories that Just Pearl will probably never tell us. Okay, this is typical, right? By the way, like I said, men do go through stuff too, and there's a lot of women generalizing on the internet who will never tell us the backstories. Okay, but shout out to Oyindamola, she gave us more than enough, right? Anyway, let's keep going here. Upon returning to USA, I couldn't shake the feeling that I needed to do something about the situation. With a heavy heart, I decided to voice my concerns to my husband's parents. However, their response was I should put my mind at rest, that he will never do such a thing. His mother, blah, blah, blah. It's too hard. It might seem like they're taking sides. I have a feeling that we don't have enough information to claim that. They're confused. They're just confused. Like, they know that girlfriend, but they're like, what are you doing? Are you trying to mess up your whole family? Like, what are you doing? They're probably trying to do that, but in the meanwhile, they're hoping to contain things until they bust open. At some point, though, let me tell you something. Most likely, they will take sides with their son. Why? Because this son probably has his own story. Guess what side of the story they're going to believe? Okay? Don't just, let me see. She is a line aspirant. Yeah, let me tell you something. It might not be particularly lying. It might just be they choose, like most people would do, to believe his side of the story, which we don't know right now. Right? We don't know that right now. Okay? So that's what's going on. That, again, someone like Just Pearl will probably never tell us. Right? Why? Because she doesn't care. She just wants empathy for men. Right? And for as much empathy as she has for men, is that many super chats coming in. Thank you so much, D-Love, for the super chat. I appreciate you. Let's keep going. All these contradictions, let's go back a little bit. However, the response, but my husband quiet. Okay, all these contradictions and evasiveness from the family began to take a toll on me, psychologically and mentally, abusing my sanity. They tried to minimize the issue, dismissing it as neither serious nor deep. I can see that. Driven by his desperate need for the truth, I took matters into my own hands. I went through my husband's phone. You see? Did I not tell you? I haven't read this part yet. I just skimmed through it. Now I'm reading with you now, for real. Okay? Because when I saw the beginning, I was like, we have to talk about this. The only aspect of it is that I know is what Auntie B read earlier as well. I took matters into my own hands. I went through my husband's phone and found some strange numbers that he had been communicating with on WhatsApp. My heart pounding, one of the numbers I called ended up being a female. I questioned her about her relationship with my husband, but she flatly denied knowing him at all. Feeling cornered, I hung up and sent a text message, including the picture as proof that her number was saved on his phone as Fisayo, which later found out her real name is Bumi Adedapo. Shout out to Bumi Adedapo. She's a woman. This is not your opportunity to drag men. It's not. It takes a woman for this story, one or two women, for this story to be created. Okay? We're not benefiting nothing out of making this a gender war thing. The only thing we're talking about here right now is the backstories. Okay? And I'm going to tell you what I think, even beyond this, all the way into the back, even beyond Oyindamola's story. There is more. There is more. But what we can tell so far is that this man had been in a space mentally where he's not a man. That's the only reason why a man will do this. If a man wants to remarry to another person, he might cheat a little bit. Eventually, the previous relationship will fall apart. At least, even if he doesn't say with his full chest that he's already dating someone, at least that relationship will kind of fall apart because it's disengaging. Kind of like Mercy Johnson and Mercy Aigbe's story. The Mercies, our representative on the whatchamacallit today. On the thumbnail today. Shout out to Mercy, the Mercies. They have their story. They are also special guests in this Mara. Right? So yeah. This is real. This is happening in real life. But a man that will deem it like he has nothing to lose to the point that he will just go ahead and throw himself under the bus like that. In a global world where there's proof and pictures, they're posting pictures all over the place on the internet that you're committing bigamy, meaning you can lose everything. That man is not stable emotionally. So he was probably not capable of being a husband anyway. Does that make sense? All right. So a question, let me see. I think I went okay. Yet she still denied it, insisting that she had no connection to him whatsoever. I felt stuck, unsure of how to proceed. It seemed as if everyone involved was determined to keep me in the dark. When you find yourself in that space where you see that the last few years of your life has been a whole lie as a feeling, right? Like you will feel like it's a complete lie. That's just how that comes. It will hit you like a storm. Like, wait, you need to wake up because I'm in a dream that you need to wake up from, right? When it hits you like a storm, you will question everything. So part of the things you will question is like, looks like everybody's lying to you. You will call your friends. Did you see this? Did you see that? Every call that comes is like somebody's about to tell you something new. You can run mad in that space. This is the part that just Paul would not know. The only thing that Paul knows is that some men, they commit self-deletion when they divorce them, when they dump them. That's the only thing that just Paul knows. She could care less. Oh, I said bigamy. Anything by. Shout out to Chinye for correcting me. Bigamy. Thank you, Jerry. I questioned her about her relationship with my husband. No, wait. Let's go back a little bit. I went through my husband's phone and found some strange number that he had been communicating with on WhatsApp. My heart pounding, one of the phone numbers. Okay, we already went through that. I felt stuck, unsure how to proceed. It seemed as if everyone involved was determined to keep me in the dark, denying any serious relationship between my husband and Bumi. But I couldn't ignore the nagging feeling that there was more in the story. And I knew I had to keep digging to uncover the truth. So if this kind of woman eventually go and file divorce, and this kind of man loses everything he has in the Yankees, which is a source of anything he has, right? And he ends up collecting breakfast, chop breakfast, and he ends up, and then people like Just Pearl Things and the rest of the pick-me's on the internet will now say, oh, protect our men. Listen, I keep telling you, I appreciate the advocacy, but stop creating content that panders to men. It's not helpful. Men are built from challenges. They need to face the challenges. But so men should be self-deleting. No, that's not what I said. But I'm telling you, in real life, men understand that there are casualties. People die every day from diseases. People die every day, get hit by a bus, accidents, stuff like that. 200,000 plus people every day. Okay? It's just life. But the best chances for a man to really enjoy life is to stay on his throne as a king. Okay? If he needs help, he needs to consult with his other brothers. Hey, this is what I'm going through. Give me your perspective. I don't have the truth all the time. Just a perspective that may be different from yours. Women that pander, the same thing, by the way. Men that pander to women don't help women either. Let me tell you that right now too. Same thing. Men that pander to women, right? They don't help women either. You're not going to get to the solution. You just have somebody making you feel good. Same thing. But I think it's worse for men because men have responsibilities to maintain our society. We have responsibility. Why would we do that? What do we get? Because women are incubators. They multiply, reciprocate. We get more. They turn it to a home. They turn it to a beautiful life for us. So there is benefits in it. It's just that you have to be patient. You have to understand that there's seasons. There's due season. There's nobody that end up in divorce court just like that. There might be. There's exceptions, but that's not usually how it works. Okay? That's not how it works. Your growth as a man is in challenges. It's in being confused. When you're confused, it's time to learn something new. You don't just run to some random 26-year-old girl on the internet and say, yes, you're right. You're such a beautiful girl. There's no other girl like you in these streets. Of course not, because you've been spending about 2-3 hours watching Just Power videos per day. Of course, there's no other girl like her in the streets. Because most girls, they sympathize with women. Most normal women, at some point, even if they pander small, at some point, they sympathize with women because they can relate. That's the normal behavior. A woman that cannot sympathize with women, the issues are deeper than what you may be talking about on the surface. Of course, you don't want to go deeper, but the issues are deeper. A man that can sympathize with a man is not normal behavior. It's not a normal behavior. Something in him can relate. Like, you know what? I can feel my brothers, right? Now I go through that all the time. Not all the time, not as much as in the beginning, but we have a bunch of lame men that will say, hey, that one is simple over there. That's a Derek Jackson over there, right? Right? After a while, their talking point is no more than 20. All of them is no more than 20. After I destroy them, they don't say it no more because they find out they're just lame for the most part. But at some point, I had to listen longer to them and say, my brothers are going through something. Maybe I can understand small before I continue to drag them. Maybe I can understand small of what they're going through, right? But when a man sits down on a microphone on the internet, just all he wants to do is slander to women, he doesn't know what's going on. It's disconnected from reality at best. Because the truth is that some men find themselves in a very terrible place because some women don't know how to behave. Product of what? Fatherless homes. The destruction of the family structures. Right? The streets is getting messy. If you were able to raise your own children as a single parent and you did a good job, there are some that are doing terrible jobs. It's just a lot of work to raise children. It's just a lot of work. Okay? Let me continue here. I felt stuck, unsure of how to proceed. It seemed as if everyone involved. Okay. On June 20th, 2022, my husband informed me that he needed to travel to Nigeria for an important project. I wasn't keen on the idea, but he managed to convince me with documentary evidence that he had been approved for a 57 million naira grant for the IG Exelon _IO. It was starting a business. Listen, he probably started a business for real, but that usually comes with extracurricular activities too, right? And gas station, he was launching a gas station. Everybody wants to launch a gas station, all like oil and gas, right? He's building. He insisted that he had to be in Nigeria to monitor and supervise the project personally. All right, let me see here. So that's Oyindamola in green, and that's the wife in Nigeria. That's her dancing. All right, let's not play that. Enjoying his life. That's him enjoying his life while we battling with COVID some years back. So he found a babe, and here it says picked him up at the airport July 5th, 2021, not knowing he just got married to another person entirely, committing bigamy. Chinye, right? We even bought welcome back balloons and customized card made by the kids. And then nigga's like, what am I doing? He probably had serious moments where he was like, what am I doing? But damn, he did, man. He did. Uku. Well, now this is the wedding party. Check hashtags to see more pictures and video of a shameful union. There was a whole wedding. Right? Somebody is looking for my fight. Somebody is looking for my fight in the chat. Somebody is looking for. Somebody. You're looking. I don't have. It's not Hokuni. Hokuni, Auburn, right? Is you not see two women on the screen right now? Is not two women on the screen, right? We haven't seen the gentleman's face. I call him gentleman. Somebody's like, "Why are you calling him a gentleman? You should drag him." Listen, this guy not a collect water. He lost. Do you know what it means for a man to lose his family? Right? And this is just the ice. This is icing on the cake. You know, I don't know if you know that in reality, in real life, men are held accountable like almost instantly. Right? I don't know if you know that. Don't worry, he will collect. Oh. He will collect, don't worry. Right? He will end up in Mark.
You will end up in McDonald's.
He can't escape it. But guess who else go end up in McDonald's? You see these two ladies on the screen? All of them. Because show me your friend in me. Yeah? Show me your friend in your own. Yeah? There's no escaping it. Okay? There's no escaping this. I tell you. Oh my show. Only if human beings would know. You know, the older you get, you just see that. Yeah, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Yeah. But no. If you know any of these chicks in the picture that were friends, close friends with her, run for your life. Listen, there are patterns in life. What makes up the structure of what we call life, a social construct, it's all kind of patterns in life. But life is not everyone. You know me now. I know they like generalization too, but at some point you gotta pay attention to some behavior. You see someone like Carl repeating a talking point over, at some point you gotta be like, this girl is lame. She doesn't know what she's talking about. You just gotta be. For me, it takes 2 sentences usually. I'm like, what is she talking about? Okay, all right. For an average person, it might take a day or two. Listen 2 or 3 times. For 1.39 million people, you might never be able to save these people. Okay, I'm telling you. Listen, I'm not trying to be Captain Save everybody.
You think they're wise?
Listen, shout out to you if you're one of these 29 people here watching me. You're all I care about. That's it. Okay, that's it. Let's keep going. Yes. So this is a screenshot of a message. Madam, you're taking it too far because this person you're talking about, I don't even know him. That's a screenshot of the message when she was trying to find out, right? Yeah. Hey, baby. I see. It's nice. See, nice. Okay, I'll see you later. Bye-bye. Okay, reached out when she wrote, every time she sees my picture, it makes her sad. And please, who told you I was following you on Instagram? Maybe you're mistakenly for someone. So she had been following, she said it makes her sad. All that. You get that gist, right? Let's go and continue here. Okay, continuation. On June 27th, 2022, right? I found out that my son had also contracted COVID-19 and started running a fever. I was furious with him for leaving us in such a vulnerable state, and I couldn't bring myself to answer any of his calls. So he was calling from Nigeria, she couldn't answer. Okay, that will happen. You know, obviously a lot was going on. The kid caught COVID, all that kind of stuff. My anger grew as I struggled to care for my sick child, feeling isolated and overwhelmed. On July 1st, I was resting in bed with my daughter when I received a phone call from a friend of mine. She inquired about the whereabouts of my husband and asked if there were any problems in the marriage. I told her there was no issue, aside from him leaving for Nigeria while I was sick with our son. She then asked if that was truly the only problem in our home. My curiosity grew. I asked her what she meant. My friend sent me a picture that made my heart drop. They were dressed in white and pink. Let me see. Dressed in white and pink, coordinating colors, looking all too comfortable with each other. Let me see. I think this is the picture she's talking about. That's the wife you're looking at on the screen. Okay. The wind was knocked out of my sails. And I don't even understand that much English. I felt completely blank. I dialed his number, my hands shaking with fury. Instead of addressing my concerns, he began interrogating me about not picking up his calls. Remember that she already said she wasn't picking up calls at one point because people were catching COVID and all that kind of stuff. I couldn't believe his audacity ignoring his questions. I sent him the picture my friend had shared with me and demanded an explanation. You can't convince me that, listen, if this man is this wicked, God had saved her. But you can't convince me that this is not a very weak man. The only thing that you can claim is maybe he has money. Maybe he's a physically tall, big guy. But as a man, you can't convince me that this is not a weak man. That if somehow the story had to be told this way, which I know is dangerous because again, people can self-delete going through this kind of stuff. Right? You can't convince me that this is not a weak man. Right? Again, like I said, in reality, I try to tell us not to be delusional here. It's completely unrealistic to tell people to leave instead of cheating. It's unrealistic. Human beings they're not set up that way. Human beings are set up to enjoy the secrecy, the secret affair, and then they would gravitate apart. At least the good ones, the ones that still have some home training, that care about life, care about other people, don't want to hurt people at that level. They might gravitate away. The relationship will fall apart. She might have been smelling it that this guy is dating somebody else, and then before marrying another. But a person who is still actively with the wife and moves ahead to go and marry another person, I don't care if it's 20,000 miles away. That is a very, very weak man. He immediately started apologizing. Again, another sign that he's a weak man. If it's something that is like, listen, she was mean to me, and I just found myself in this space that I don't know. I just moved on. I wanted to tell her. I couldn't tell her. He will never be able to find himself apologizing. He's apologizing because he's a weak man. What is he apologizing for? Exactly what? Yeah. He told me that the lady was celebrating her birthday. And so he's still lying, right? So if you feel the need to lie, this type of lie, listen, petty lies, white lies, I'll be there in a second. But it takes you another 15 minutes to get there. That's still a lie, but I'm not talking about those kind of lies, right? That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about outright lies that can take lives out. Lies that indicates that you're taking life for granted. You don't care about lives, not even your own life. Of course, other people's lives, your children's lives. You don't care because these chicks, when we say somebody's for the streets in Nigeria, I'm telling you, they will do whatever they have to do to take over that family. They will destroy everything. Okay? If it gets down to it. Listen, I almost want to say any woman, but of course not, because everyone is in different spaces in life. But I'm saying, you know what happens when you starve somebody, right? They will eat anything, including their own children, right? So people are just in that space in certain societies where they're willing to destroy anybody to take over their territory. It's an active marketplace. Sometimes it's blatant like this. Most of the time it's emotionally speaking. Emotionally, somebody will steal your husband and he will break up with you first and then go and marry somebody else. It's still, it's stealing, but not stealing because like we were saying at the beach chat earlier, if they want to be stolen, people can steal. Women know this type of women, they know exactly what they're doing. But they're in that space where like, now Yankee with the talk. The other story, shout out to Victoria. She was talking about Germany. Victoria is still here hanging out with me. Victoria, you did it. God will not forget you. I know I tried to call you earlier. Yeah, she's not. But let's get back to it. Yeah, it's serious stuff. Serious, right? He told me that the lady was celebrating pictures. I couldn't help believe, blah, blah, blah. He said he's sorry. All he could say was, I'm sorry, because I hung up the phone. Not long after our conversation, my friend called that they had taken down the picture on the colography. So they had the picture on a colography Instagram page. I couldn't handle the emotional breakdown alone, so I reached out to my family and friends. Their support was invaluable, but I was still emotionally drained and on the verge of a mental breakdown. Listen, as we're covering this story right now, we have another breakdown. It doesn't go away like that. It's not that simple. So she needs to engage help as soon as possible. As we're talking about this story, it will tamper, it will mess with the wound, right? And it's gonna hurt. It's fresh, it's raw, right? Determined to find out the truth, I spoke to a friend who had found a mutual friend of Wumi Adedapo on Instagram. All right, let's continue. Through this connection, I gathered more information. So now she's now being a detective in her own household. She's now actively, how many hours do you think this takes for her to be gathering all of this? Do you think she can function properly at work? Auntie Pearl, do you think she can function properly at work? Do you think she might find herself in a space where she realizes, like, wait, it's 2023. I don't have to stay in a stupid marriage because of duty and responsibility. Might she? Maybe. What do you think, Pearl? Let's bring Pearl back to the stage. Maybe Pearl can tell us a little bit more about how she feels about something she has no experience about. Let's get into Pearl a little bit.
Family court.
Pearl is opening papers for us.
You don't need any evidence.
No evidence.
It's based on a balance of probabilities. So, what happens next? Let's say he doesn't pay the child support. He could either go to jail or they just take it out of his bank account. They just take it.
Pearl, now weary person. Now weary somebody, I swear.
And if he reaches out to his children, he can also
go to jail,
which he's legally allowed to do. There have been cases of the women.
She can't help herself from being dumb.
And it just furthers the restraining order. Now, I could be butchering this a little bit. Okay.
A little bit.
But I spoke to a man yesterday that went through this. So then he has to.
She said a little.
Kids. Now remember, really? With no evidence, and this could take up 6 months to a year to even get to court. And with COVID, some men were not seeing their kids for 2 years before they could even have a chance to get their kids back. Now imagine.
At this point, she says some men. Somebody said, but she's not generalizing. See, if somebody has to say opposite of some before they know you're generalizing, you're part of the problem. Okay? Context matters. Sometimes you say some, you're still generalizing based off of your context, your vibe, your repetitive talking points. 6,000 videos, 1.39 million subscribers. You are, I don't care how many times you say some, I just meant some, I meant 2%. No, you're full of shit. You were generalizing. Okay? So it's not just the words that make it generalizing. We can listen to your rhetorics and we know you're generalizing or speaking from a place of no experience.
You have a newborn or a 2-year-old. And you haven't seen those kids in 2 years. And you have two options, okay? You go to court. You can either take the guilty plea or you can fight it. Now, what happens?
Take the guilty plea or fight it, right? So, listen, once you end up, gentlemen, if you end up in that court, your life, you will end up in McDonald's. She's telling the truth in that case, okay? Like, all of you, your children, your wife, all of you, you go cry. There's no way around it. She's not lying, right? But she's also telling 1/4 of the truth. She didn't tell us Oyindamola's story. She doesn't care about such stories. In fact, she has a talking point to tackle every single time you try to bring her to that space. In fact, she disengages. She disengages from... Like, what are you gonna tell me? That these women they have shelters that they can put their children if you kick them out on the streets? This is what Pearl said, though.
These nuts.
Pearl doesn't care. She has zero sympathy for women.
Don't care, don't care, don't care, still don't care. I don't care, I don't care.
Could it work? She's looking for a husband. The husband that will marry her is lame. She will need complete makeover, mentally speaking, and some time off from this kind of conversation. But we're not judging Pearl. She's a special guest, like Auntie Mercy's, the merciless Mercy, like somebody said in the chat earlier, right? Don't be juju with that. You're saying some to cover your tracks of someone saying that you're generalizing. Exactly. They say some, and then, but I didn't generalize. Yes, you did. Stop the cap. You know exactly what you're doing when you say some. Anyway, let's keep going here. In my desperation, let me share the screen. Let's leave Pearl. It's a matter of fact, before we continue, let me pay a little bit of bills here really quickly. I'll be right back. Let me drink some water. Welcome back, Jerry. Dilo says she's looking for money. She understands that demographic. Yeah, girl. Definitely. That part is absolutely true. You know, the other part that I'm not too sure about is that when you start repeating lies, see, I'm like saying it's truth sometimes, I say it's lies sometimes. It's facts. Some of the things she's saying, a lot of things she's saying is facts, and that's why people could relate. Are they truth? No, they're stupid. They're lacking proper interpretation, so I can't call them truth. They're hard truth because she's starting to believe them, right? But yes, she's definitely a yeah girl. She should go and ask somebody what that means. But our brothers are in that chat. I saw a lot of Yoruba, Igbo names, Hausa name. Yes, girl. Yes. Really. Anyway, I know my brothers will find me, and then we can talk more robustically instead of all this lame talk. But yeah, let's continue this. Shout out to Oyindamola story. The person you're looking at is not Oyindamola. I think that's the other auntie. Let's see.
Níwọ mo ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ rí fún ẹni mo wo àti wá jọ tẹsẹ̀ bọ́ ni ó ti yẹ àtijọ́ tẹsẹ̀ bọ́ ni wo ìkòkò ní gbẹmí kó gbẹ̀yìn ibi kí tó bá ti pàdé mi tó bá fẹ́ bú mi bẹ́ẹ̀ jẹ́ àmọ́ àjọ búra wa o ó ti yẹ I'm ready for you ó ti yẹ so tó ara àwọn òbí mi tó tẹ̀ tó wá mú mẹ́nu ó ti jẹ́ tán ìwọ ọmọ yìí Oyin ó ti jẹ́ tán ìwọ máa bẹ́ẹ̀ pò ó máa bẹ́ẹ̀ fà á ó mọ̀ pé ó sọ fún ẹ mo ní tó bá ku ẹ̀mí ẹyọ kan lára mi Oyin tó bá ku ẹ̀mí ẹyọ kan lára máa dá ẹ lágbo síná ìwọ ọmọ òfò yìí ọ̀rọ̀ tí ìkọ́tẹ́ ti rẹ̀ lẹ́ẹ̀tí wàá máa gbọ́ níwọ̀ mo ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ rí fún ẹni mo wo àti wá jọ tẹsẹ̀ bọ́ ni ó ti yẹ àtijọ́ tẹsẹ̀ bọ́ ni wo ìkòkò ní gbẹmí kó gbẹ̀yìn ibi kí tó bá ti pàdé mi tó bá fẹ́ bú mi bẹ́ẹ̀ jẹ́ àmọ́ àjọ búra wa o ó ti yẹ I'm ready for you ó ti yẹ so tó ara àwọn òbí mi tó tẹ̀ tó wá mú mẹ́nu ó ti jẹ́ tán ìwọ ọmọ yìí Oyin ó ti jẹ́ tán ìwọ máa bẹ́ẹ̀ pò ó máa.
Anyway, you guys can translate for each other. He's throwing threats on the internet. Either you record it on WhatsApp. Gentlemen, don't be lame like this. Don't do that to yourself. I don't care if you feel like you're telling the truth. I don't care if you feel like it's the truth. Don't record yourself. Okay, you didn't mean to record yourself. You were sending a voice note to someone. It's just as stupid. Yeah, but I was talking to someone the other line. I didn't know they were going to record me. I didn't know that they have. I didn't know. I didn't give them permission. Blah blah blah. Right? It's still stupid. Stupid, because all these words can be used against you. Okay, you will collect. You will regret it. This is a threat against your own family. If she turns around now and uses that to file a restraining order, then you will have Auntie Pearl fighting on your behalf. Right? It's not going to work. You know? Then you have Auntie Pearl fighting on your behalf. Could it work? But anyway, gentlemen, be careful. Text messages is a no-no when there's emotionally charged things transpiring. You don't do text messages. Listen, we're human. All of us, we're humans, right? Right? And we've all been in a position where we get caught up in our emotions and we really want to just tell the truth. Tell it as it is. Tell that woman what she is, right? Don't do it. Don't send text messages. The only text messages ever you should ever be sending is I love you, I'll see you soon. If you notice that there's an emotional charge, she's upset. No, but it's black and white. No, that's lame. Black and white, you're giving her the permission to interpret it with her own filters, with what she's been feeling, and vice versa. Don't do text messages. Don't leave voice notes. Oh, but voice note, they can hear my emotions. Don't leave any type of stupid, what do you call them? Don't leave it. Like, be face to face. Have a conversation. Be patient with the conversation. It's emotional stuff. Right and wrong is not relevant. You're having a different experience. She's having a different experience. Even if you understand just the fact that you don't know the first 18 years of his life, the way he's interpreting what is going on is different from yours. This is just a reality. So you want to listen carefully before you say something. Right? Gentlemen, if you claim to be the leader in that equation, you are expected, not just by the society, by yourself, to show up like a man. Okay? All are you saying? Just suck it in. Just suck it up. You can listen. See what I said? You're interpreting things with your own, like, I'm talking about your power. If your power is only in your words, that's a bad place to be, because you can't beat a woman at that. A typical woman, you can't beat her at your mouth. You're powerless. You're weak. If all you have is your mouth, I'm bossy, how much more you're leaving this kind of message on the internet via WhatsApp or voicemails or anything like that. This is lame.
I'm ready for you. So to ara won bi mi to te to wa mu menu. O ti je tan iwo mo yin. Oyin, o ti je tan iwo. Ma be po. Ma be fa. O mo ko so fun e. Mo ni to ba.
Yeah, don't do that to yourself, gentlemen. If you're upset, you're going to say things. If your woman says something against your parents in the heat of stuff, you're going to overreact. If you don't catch yourself, if you have no emotional control, oh, it's going to be bad. It's going to be bad. But this is your family we're talking about. So do I mean suck it up? Well, is this suck it up you want, or you want to keep your family together, even if she's going to become your ex-wife? Which one do you want? Do you want your life all over the place on the internet? Or you actually want to, like, listen, we're moving on, but I want to do that in a way that's, that's healthy for my children. How about that? Right? As opposed to, let me leave a message for her right now and for those children that are disrespectful to me, I will remember that one that was flogging the wife with belt. You have work to do. And then 2 years later, you end up in the comments of Auntie Pearl because she's pandering to you. Yeah.
Not be juju be that.
It's gonna be bad for you. Okay? If you are in Pearl's comments today, right now, particularly pandering back to her, simping to her.
Not be juju be that.
What do I have to tell you? What can I tell you?
You be mumu.
What can I tell you?
You think say they wise?
Let me see. What are you guys talking about? Let me go back to the chat real quick. Let's see. Yeah, that's going to happen. If family, Rebecca says, but because she abuses mom, that's going to happen by default. If you find your marriage in the turmoils and the parents are involved somehow, some way, stuff like that, you will end up, people will disrespect each other because again, they are caught up in their emotions. We're not justifying it. I'm telling you the reality, right? If you don't know how to react to that, you attract more of it. Listen to what I just said. If you don't know how to react properly to that, you will attract more of it. For every time you overreact to that, you lose a little bit more respect. A woman that cannot respect you, cannot love you, is literally impossible. Literally impossible. Okay? Shout out to Democracy and More Fresh. See you all. Anyway, let me continue the rest of the story here. So she goes through his connection. In my desperation, I called to this mom, hoping she would be honest with me, but she insisted. Right? No, let's go back a little bit. I gathered more information that left me reeling. I discovered that Tunde Oyelade, that's his name, Bumi and Adirakbo had been married for a year and they had just celebrated their first anniversary. Jesus. I was dumbfounded, struggling to believe the truth that was unfolding before my eyes. In my desperation, I called Tunde's mom, hoping she would be honest with me. But she insisted that whatever I was wearing were all lies. She urged me to tell people to stop spreading false information. The next day, friends and family gathered around me, offering their support and condolences. That's bad, right? Like somebody, because it truly will feel like somebody passed away. That's what it will feel like. Because that's the man you've always known. And suddenly you're like, what? Was that even a person? Everything about you yourself is being questioned. It feels like a lie, right? The only thing you have left is you and your children. And you're hoping that every minute that passes, you wake up. You just wake up from this nightmare. She's still feeling it. It's too fresh. It's raw. So her posting this right now, yeah, I understand it. Sometimes nobody is understanding you. That's how you're going to feel. And sometimes the next step is social media. You start to feel like social media maybe can understand you or feel your pain a little bit better. Clearly, Auntie Pearl cannot understand. Pearl, wala. Anyway, she urged me to tell people to stop spreading false information. That's the typical talk. So all these people that are telling you the truth, like, well, they're telling you because he's been messy. He's a messy person. He's a man who cannot hold his household together, right? Not cheating is not equal to holding your household together. You might find yourself in a space you're not happy in the relationship anymore. You start dating somebody else entirely. That happens in real life, not just on the internet. In real life, it happens, right? But for the majority of us, we're able to say, but no, I'm not going to remarry unless I completely break that off. You might be a little sloppy. They catch a little text message here and there. It happens, okay? They catch you participating in emotional infidelity. Then you catch yourself, but you've married a whole person, a whole human being, somebody that large. That's a whole human being. And the person is posting picture. Can you hide that woman? This woman we're looking at on the screen, can you hide her? Look at how she's taking photo shoots and all. Is it possible to hide this person? How far do you think you were going to hide this person? I don't understand. Anyway, the next day, friends and family gathered around me, offering blah blah blah. All the while, I kept calling both of them in tears, day and night, to demand full details of this embarrassment. The main issue, gentlemen, is the embarrassment. To a large extent, a lot of women will be like, I don't care what you do, but why would you embarrass me like this? The embarrassment is the biggest source of the pain. Yeah, not the lies. Some people say, oh, but the lie was painful. But she disrespected me. That was painful. Oh, but she did this to the children. That was painful. It was the most painful part is the emotional aspect of things, the embarrassment. The fact that you feel like you need to cover your face everywhere you go. That's very hard to get over. Okay? He said, sorry, but I needed closure. 2 days after the revelation about his infidelity, adultery, and bigamy, on Sunday, July 3rd, a friend of Bumi called my friend to inform that her. So now all these friends are connecting. They're connecting the dots. Now they're snitching each other out, which will happen. Okay. All you have to do is wait. They will snitch on each other. Okay. Go and look at the manosphere right now. All you have to do is just wait. 3 months. It doesn't last that long anymore. 3 months. Okay. They will, if they are participating in bad behavior that are not sustainable long term, they will snitch on each other. People will come and tell you in your back channel. I can't tell you how many DMs I get. Okay, on other gurus, what this one did, that one did this. They said this about that person all the time. They will snitch on them, on each other. Okay, let's keep going here. 2 days after the revelation about, okay, we got that part already. They called my friend. Her friend called my friend to inform her that Bumi is in Dubai with my husband and not in Nigeria as he had claimed. Oh, Bumi ended up in Dubai. Right? Dream come true. I didn't want to believe her. Demanding photos and pictures as proof, to my dismay, she provided the evidence I sought. They were indeed in Dubai. Feeling desperate for the truth, I video called Tunde. Tunde and Bumi don't collect today. Demanding that he show me his hotel room as proof that he was in Nigeria. He refused. I couldn't hold back my tears. The hurt of being lied to was unbearable. Despite my anguish, Tunde kept trying to convince me that he was in Nigeria. Yeah. He refused. I couldn't hold back my tears. The hurt of being lied to was unbearable. Despite my anguish, Tunde kept trying to convince me that he was in Nigeria. I decided to call Bumi again. Yeah, I wish I could see. This is the part where I said, never call the strange woman. Never call the other woman. Easier said than done. Of course, we know what the rules are. The problem is that all rules goes out the window when you're caught up in your emotions. That's why we keep talking about emotional intelligence, okay? You need to make sure that you continue to feed yourself emotionally. You need to continue to work on yourself, self-development, so that when crisis inevitably in life hits, you're able to handle things a little bit better. But an average human being will do exactly what she's doing. Are we justifying it? No, we're telling you what will exactly happen for most of the time. Okay? Especially if you're just living life and you didn't see that this could ever be you, right? Yeah. Feeling lost and needing more information. While scoring, okay, wait. I started contacting more people through Facebook and Instagram, hoping to find proof of Tunde's deception. While scoring social media, I came across clips of Tunde and Bumi's white wedding on one of Bumi's friends' Facebook and IG page. CC Mercy. They also went to Dubai together. I found more pictures and videos on Instagram. Continued on next. Okay, let's go to next. All right, so look at this picture. A whole mother. I don't know which mother is this. Is this her mother? They must have been lying to all of them, right? Including images shared by the wedding planner using the couple's hashtag. They had a hashtag. However, I noticed that there were no photos or videos of Tunde or Bumi together. I later learned from someone who attended the wedding that an announcement was made instructing guests not to take pictures. Right? That's still stupid. Even comedian, if you go to any comedy show, they'll tell you not to take picture. People still sneak in before they still sneak it in, right? And they will take it. Again, unrealistic expectations. People will take videos of your show, whatever show you're putting on. They may not do it publicly, but they will still find a way to do it if there's enough interest in doing so. Okay, this only fueled my suspicions further. Finally, I managed to obtain multiple videos and pictures from various mutual friends of Bumi. You know, when a woman goes through this, she becomes a detective. Okay, men as well. If a man goes through this kind of stuff, he starts to suspect maybe the wife here, he will become a detective effectively. Right? He will continue to ask, how do I see this? How do I find this? They will put a tracker on your car, all this kind of stuff. It's not a healthy lifestyle to have, but I can understand if you find yourself in that space. When we covered the story about, you know, privacy, secrecy, and the phone, I said, listen, if you find yourself in this space, I understand. But let's address the real issue, because checking the phone is still not going to help you. The real issues are what you're looking at right now. This is an example of it. Okay. I later learned from someone who attended, okay, we've covered that. Finally, I managed to obtain, okay, with my emotions in turmoil, I told Tunde not to return to our house. When he arrived back in America, I was furious and overwhelmed, and I couldn't bear the thought of him living under the same roof after all the deceit and betrayal. And this is where the topic came from. If you're wondering where the topic came from, my wife kicked me out. This is where it came from. This is why. Okay. Why will his mom be lying like that? That's gaslighting, making her feel like she's delusional. She was probably just as confused. Again, I'm always asking, what's the motive? What's the motive? I'm more concerned about the motive than the actual behavior. People will misbehave if everything is already wrong in the first place. If the foundation, people will just misbehave. Yeah, I wouldn't worry about the mother lying. That's the least of the issue. But yeah, she will lie if she has to lie temporarily to just push the issue to tomorrow. She knows that this is all will come down, destroying everybody and everyone and everything. She knew, but maybe she's just trying to get by that day, right? People will do that sometimes. You can never believe that this man's family is gonna keep it 100 with you. No, they can't, because listen, he's probably been telling them some kind of story too, right? She's too large to be hidden. Yeah, like a whole human being, an adult. I noticed some mother-in-law usually lie against their daughter-in-law if they don't like her. Well, that's another issue entirely. Yes, that does happen. If they need to listen, I keep telling you, right? You think they're only talking about wife. We're not just talking about wife. We're talking about people's mothers sometimes. Everyone's mother. They do what they have to do. Right? Voila. This is what Igbos will call akpa, meaning bag of cassava. She deserves no respect from me. Yeah, voila, wa.
Wàhálà Nàìjíríà don rip us so àti kó sáwọn kọlu. Wàhálà.
I'll be right back. All right, welcome back. So, like I was saying, this is where the topic came from. Okay, the topic that says my wife kicked me out. They just Pearl thinks is helping us correct her. Yeah, I was being sarcastic. But yeah, that's where the topic came from. This last paragraph right here that says, I couldn't bear the thought of him living under the same roof after all the deceit and betrayal. I was furious. I told Tunde not to return to our house when he arrived back in America. His elder brother requested for a sit down. There was so much screaming. Family meetings are terrible for this kind of stuff. Listen to me carefully. When you do get married, if you're married already, if there's issues, inevitably it will happen. You're humans. You will have friction sometimes. Don't bring family into it. Oh, but my father is a very wise person. He knows how to handle. In fact, he's a counselor. You won't listen to me now. Oh Lord.
Hey! I am me by me.
You won't listen. You won't listen. You won't listen to me. Okay? Avoid bringing the family into it if you can. Okay? Avoid it. Try to avoid it. Even if they're not, the way it worked for me is that my mother in particular, she wanted to make sure that my wife didn't think she was taking sides. You know what that created? Bias. It's called default bias. Now I was like feeling some type of way, like, wait, but she did this, she did that, she did this, she did this, she did that. It's called default bias. It's not about right and wrong. It's not about what sides anybody belongs to. Leave these people. Listen carefully to me. Don't do family meetings if you find yourself in crisis. It's very likely that your partner will not want to come to therapy with you. Go to therapy by yourself. I prefer that anyway. Engage personal counseling with a wise person. Avoid family members that will make either of the parties feel some type of way. If it will make either of the party feel some type of way, avoid it. Okay? I see all the super chats. I appreciate you. You know what time it is. Shout out to you. Thank you so much for the super chat. Democracy $9.99. Thank you so much for that. Shout out to Life with Natu, that $10 super chat, super sticker. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you so much, Life with Natu. And we have Bumi here finally. Bumi, how now? I was like, I'm not going to say Bumi because this story, I don't want Bumi to start feeling some type of way. You know what I mean? I didn't want that. You know? Shout out to D-Law for the $20. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Let me play our sound so I can rest small and to appreciate you. Thank you so much. All right, I have to play one more time for Chinye. Thank you so much for the for the super chat, Chinye. Let's play that one more time.
Wala Nigeria don't repass so I to cause our call.
All right, thank you so much for the super chat. Life would not say, what is his brother calling meeting for? He should go and talk to his brother. Waiting then one tell the woman. They want to settle me. I can't tell you the percentage in my head that I feel like most people, I'm thinking like about 93% of people, the first thing they think about when there's a crisis in the family is like, let's do meetings. Like, why? Do meeting for what? You will embarrass people, you will just overwhelm people, people will start to feel ambushed, people will start to feel they can't respond positively to that. It's not common sense, okay? I know. but it's part of emotional intelligence. Your actions may be coming from a place of good intention, but think a little bit deeper. What are the outcome of this with respect to the parties that are involved? Yeah, one person say, please help me come and beg her. The other person that you're going to go beg, how are they going to feel? Did you take your time? Were you patient enough to take your time to listen to the details? I'm still wondering why that guy is yelling like that. I don't understand why he's yelling like that. I'm still wondering too. But let's get back to the story. I beg. Anyway, finally, I managed to obtain video with my emotions in turmoil. Despite my wishes, his brother brought him to the house upon his return, and they called to demand for his car keys and arguing with me. His elder brother requested for a sit down. There was so much screaming and shouting instead of him to be remorseful. What do people do when you drag them to counseling too? Yeah, dragging them to counseling, you will probably end up screaming. So forcing people to go to counseling doesn't work either. Don't do that. Engage personal counseling by yourself, okay? And then understand what's going on first. Just because you know somebody did you wrong doesn't mean you understand what's going on. Listen to me carefully. Just because you know in your heart of heart, you know that they're doing you wrong, does not mean that you understand what's going on. You need to understand what's going on first from the lens of a person who is not caught up in the emotions of things before you can even try to engage conversation. Because either we're talking about family meeting or prematurely engaging in joint counseling together, you will end up in a match of screaming and shouting, and you will just feel worse and worse. It gets worse, okay? You will resent more. It just gets really, really badly. It gets really bad, okay? He even had the audacity to say in front of his brother that I should give him time to settle with Bomi. Yeah, that sounds like you have tolerated nonsense for a while. Sounds like lack of self-respect. This is a man who is now settling into the idea that he's not really missing out on anything. Like he was not playing that game from a place of being sure of himself, which is less of a man, but it's aligning more and more with that. Like I did what I needed to do because all this screaming and marching, all this kind of like, he's probably like, okay, it is what it is. Let's just move on. He's now getting into that space, right? That right there is a signal to me that in the past there's been some level of lack of self-respect on Oyindamola's part, okay? But maybe not. We don't know what we don't know, right? As their relationship has progressed far, right? He also accused me of not supporting his business ventures. Okay, so maybe he's resented. Again, this kind of man is a man who has been in a space where he's not sure of himself. He doesn't feel wholesome, right? So if he feels like he's not getting support in his own interpretation of what support means, right? Because everyone is different. Sometimes I just need my wife to say, babe, yes, of course you're doing well. Then once in a while, get me going. To me, it's like, if this is not her dreams, she might not even be able to interpret. This might not be her baby. This is my baby, right? But weak men don't know. They don't know how to process that. So, of course, he accused her of. He's now doing tit for tat. It's tit for tat. It's a competition now, right? Nothing good will come out of that. However, the truth was that I have been by his side all these years. If a woman is taking care of your children at home, your mentality, not reality, your mentality needs to be, that is a privilege. That is a blessing. She's having sex with me every night on top of that. That is icing on the cake, right? For free, another icing on the cake. Why should you engage that type of mentality? Because it will multiply. See, know they listen. This whole thing is about sowing a seed, due season. You wait for harvest time. You nurture it. You take care of it. You water it. You make sure that the sun can see what's going on. You keep the rodents away from it, right? You keep all kind of security is a big deal in all of this. Okay? Hold on 1 second. You okay? Okay. Security is a big part of this, right? You protect it, and then in due season you harvest. But if a man is in a space where he doesn't understand due season, he says, but I told her that I love her, but I told her, but when did you tell her? 2 days ago. Brotherly, why now? Why are you acting like this, man? Why are you doing this to yourself? You're punishing yourself. This is actually easier. You're punishing yourself. to the point that you completely went down, you derailed your life. You end up in Nigeria in the name of you're starting a business. You start doing extracurricular activity to the point that you are getting married to another human being entirely. And you were so lost. Is it juju that they did to you? Because I'm sure somebody will say this. Somebody will say this one is juju. Because it started to sound like juju to me right now.
Not be juju be that.
If it was just, messed around with somebody or something like that, you slept with somebody, but you staged a whole celebration, a whole wedding, white wedding, people taking pictures. You said people should not take pictures. When you tell people to not make noise, remember at the wedding, shout out to, what's her name, my sister that we met at the party some few weeks ago. When you're at the party and the MC say, please everybody be quiet. How many people do you know that listen to that at the party when they say be quiet? When was the last time you actually see people listen to that? Be quiet so we can hear what the celebrant is saying. They know they listen. You're meeting people that you haven't seen in a while. Everybody's moving around, say hello. They're taking snapshots. They're taking pictures of themselves, right? That's the reality of those things. And you went and did a whole... I think it's juju. Okay? I think it's juju at this point. However, the truth was that I had been by his side all these years, supporting him every step by the way. Pearl will not understand what I just said, which I said, even if you're not having sex, if she's taking care of your children, the best thing you can do is appreciate that. Understand that's a privilege already, extra privilege. It's a mindset, right? That way you can stay calm down, because this is easier than yelling at the top of your lungs thinking you can yell yourself into control. Like Auntie Pearl said, you're not going to yell yourself into control. You have no control, essentially. Your mouth is the only thing you're controlling, and you're using it the wrong way. Why? Because you've been listening to Pearl. Okay? It's not going to work. It's going to get worse for you. You're going to end up in the poto. Not only that, worst part, sadly, you're going to drag Oyindamola and the children into it. It's going to be messy for a while. Yeah. Anyway, I wouldn't even pick... Okay, let me see here. She says, however, the truth was that I had been by his side all these years. Okay. What's up, baby? You saying something?
No, I'm going to...
Sorry about that. All right, let's keep going here. His older brother requested for a sit down. There was so much screaming and shouting. Okay, he also accused me. Okay, we touched on that already. She says she's always supported. There are probably moments he's felt like there was no support. Maybe he was his baby and he couldn't. It's like, this is my baby. She's taking care of my children. Let me go focus. Let me face front, right? And then he resented, and then destroyed his whole family, basically. I would even pick him up and drop him off at the airport for every trip. That's another icing on the cake. Right? I vividly remember that on July 5th, 2021, the kids and I had prepared a welcome surprise party for him at the airport, unaware that he had just married Bumi in Nigeria. It was a painful memory to look back on. Knowing what I knew now, I later found out that all the family businesses I thought we had in Nigeria were actually registered in both Tunde and Bumi's name.
Not be juju be that.
It's crazy, right? Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? Are you telling me that one is not juju right now? Isabel, I haven't seen you in a while. Miss you. How are you? How you day? Good to see you. And gracious greatness. What's going on? Good to see you. Yeah, it's bad. The guy can't stand the support we give his wife. Yes, very messy. If my brother tries to this rubbish, I'll be the one to throw his clothes outside. You're a modern woman. You're a modern woman now too. That's why. That's what they will call you. You say you're a modern woman. So you throw, you're buying into this nonsense, all this kind of stuff, right? Yeah, this is crazy. He never loved her because how? Yeah, love is completely irrelevant. I don't know what angle can we bring love into this one right now, right? If anything, I'll be more concerned about, does she have self-love? Yeah, that would be my concern. Because even if you had self-love, let's say in some wild dream, I don't think she did, but let's say some wild dream she had some kind of self-love. This behavior, this kind of betrayal will destroy it. You will question everything about yourself. You will end up in low self-esteem. You will question if you're ever worth it. You will question your self-worth. Why would you continue to ask the question, why would anybody deem it fit to treat me like this? Right? You will the only thing you will remember is everything you've done for this person. He might remember the moment you didn't say, I'm proud of you for the business, but the only thing you'll be remembering is how you've been there, taking care of the kids, pushing those babies out, taking care of them in the COVID. While it's just bad, you know. Yes, betrayal of the highest order. Painful. It's bad. In Tunde and Bumi's names. The overwhelming betrayal, deception, and heartache ultimately led me to file for divorce. I couldn't bear to stay in a marriage that had caused me so much pain and misery. For the sake of my safety and sanity, I knew I had to let go. Smartest decision. And start a new chapter in my life, focusing on my children. Now, I said smartest decision. Auntie Pearl will probably... Auntie Pearl will probably be like, no. She left her family. I have no sympathy for her. In fact, let's see what Auntie Pearl says really quickly. Let's go back to Auntie Pearl real quickly. Share this. Let's see.
When you fight it, one, your kids aren't even yours anymore because it's been 1 to 2 years. You know, maybe she has a new boyfriend. And the mother's been in their ear for 2 years. I mean, if it's a 4-year-old, 5.
Now, this is why I said a lot of things she's saying is truth. If you're reckless with your family and they end up with their mother, right? And is she going to be nagging around the house sometimes? And she's going to say things that the kids will pick up? Yes. Why is this not your expectation is the problem. The fact that this is not your expectations in real life of potentially what can happen when you lose your family or you use your own hands to destroy your family is the issue, Pearl, right? Not your kids is no longer your kids anymore, right? You may end up with child support, right? Tell and call. Listen, gentlemen, I keep telling you, if you end up in that divorce court, they go drag you, you go end up in McDonald's. What does that look like? In Pearl's comment. Okay? You'll be there like, Pearl, you're such a beautiful woman. They don't make them like you anymore. I wish they make them anymore. You go collect.
5-year-old, a 6-year-old. By the time you get the kid back, they might not even like you anymore because of what's been in their ear.
The kids that you've always taken care of, they don't like it. The opposite. Pearl, listen to me. I know you were a special guest today, okay? The way it works is that if you were always there for the kids and something happened between you and your wife, at best, the kids are confused because that's daddy. They hate what's going on. Listen, because remember the kids will collect too, right? The kids are not just taking sides. In fact, the kids will start to doubt everything too. They'll be like, you too, yours is too much. Have you never heard of that before? But if you've never been there, then you're right. The kids will start taking sides, or if you're just evil, right? If you're just not present or you've never been present emotionally, because this kind of people, they always tend to be the one who pull out the sticks to beat the kids very fast too, because the kids did something. Instead of correcting the kid, they would rather beat the kid. They would rather exercise their anger. They tend to be the same type of guys. I'm telling you right now, okay? The same way they handle the wife is how they handle the rest of their relationships. So if the kids now said to hell with him, no, of course, Auntie Pearl is not going to tell her. What happens in the best of the scenarios, which there are many of them that still end up in divorce, is that the kids are confused because they love daddy, they love mommy, and it's confusing. But the court is going to do what's best for the kids, what they consider best for the kids, which is typically to be with the mother. Why is this not your expectations? Again, I'm confused. Pearl, you've been hiding in Kevin Samuel's chat for too long. You need to come out because this is not looking good. Let's keep going.
Now, so if you go the guilty plea, then you're a domestic abuse. You do the domestic abuse perpetrator program.
Guilty plea, they will force domestic abuse on you. That's what she just said. there's usually a reason. She's not going to be able to tell us. She can't tell us. Hey, for me. Good to see you, for me. Good to see you, cool mama. Yeah. These people, man. These niggas, man. Anyway, so this was the wedding. Let me see here. Yeah, this guy has lost himself completely. This, yeah, it's not a healthy man that would do that. I just want you to be aware of that part. As much as we want to hold him accountable, blah blah blah, it's too late. What you want to pay attention to at this point is like, am I in a relationship with this kind of person? Should I pay attention to some things? Are there some ways that I've been demonstrating lack of self-respect? Is it possible I will attract this kind of guy? This is not me blaming you. This is me helping you engage your power. Because you do have power. You can say, hey, if this happens to me, what would I do? Would I be able to file for divorce and leave? He's already remarried to somebody else. Yes, it's a crime. I don't know if they call it a crime, but he clearly is not capable of being there, right? Anyway, so to continue what the previous was, it says, I took care of our home. No, not yet. Not yet. Let me see here. He also accused me of not supporting. I took care of our home. Okay. And finding happiness once again, she says, and our beautiful children while he traveled to Nigeria. And finding happiness once again, the tension and fighting became unbearable for the kids and me. What I just said. The kids will be confused. They will be crying all the time. Okay. I've been through it as a child before. And I know that we've put our children through that before. Years ago when they were little. We put them through that before. We're just lucky to be here right now. Okay. The kids will be confused because they're like, what? Daddy's not going to be here? That's what's going to be happening. Not the stupid stuff that Pearl was just saying. That's the reality. Okay. So I made the difficult decision to move out of the house. Leaving our home took a toll on my children. That's because she's still being a traditional woman. If she's truly Western, like all the people that are fear mongering, like with Pearl, she will kick you. She will keep the house too. She moved out of that house. That's because she's still being traditional. Okay. That's why. Okay. If she was a Western, modernized woman, she will have enough friends that will tell her, you mad? That's your house. Keep it. Anyway, so I made it difficult decision to move out of the house. Leaving our home took a toll on my children. Their school performance suffered, of course. And the emotional trauma led to countless sleepless nights for all of us. Those children, if they are more than 7 years old, they will remember for the rest of their lives. Yes, they remember. Okay? Sorry, they will remember. Okay? Their school performance suffered and the emotional trauma. I would often hear them crying in the middle of the night, and it broke my heart to see them in such distress. And many women will go back to that marriage because of that, because they don't want to see their children crying like that. Even when I tried to sleep, I was plagued by nightmares in which I was strangled, murdered, and by the weight of everything that had happened seemed to haunt every moment of my life. Yeah, nightmares, sleepwalking, losing your mind. Yeah, that's the reality. Yes, it's emotional, but you're right. It's also reality, right? To make matters worse, Tunde, in a moment of anger while he was still in Nigeria, had threatened the kids, saying that he would ensure they were taken to a foster home. See, he had been listening to Daddy Freeze too much. Really, because he didn't care for them anymore. This cruel and thoughtless statement further exacerbated the pain and suffering my children and I were experiencing. In December 2022, I discovered that Bumi had been following me and my friends on Instagram under this username BT Brain Makeover. Hey. Ọ̀tá ilé, ọ̀tá òde, Jésù Kristi.
Obìnrin. Ó já mi lára jẹ.
That is mad. But women will do that when they're obsessed with the new guy. Okay, so, but yeah, it's madness. It was unsettling to know that she was monitoring my life even after everything that had happened. Tunde, on the other hand, has taken my name and middle name, my mother's name and middle name with the 3 kids named to a cleric couple with the diabolic stuffs I found in the house. Wala! 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 Oh. This is monitoring spirit, Bomi. Literally. Ogun monitoring spirits. Olomajari. Yeah. So even if that's not true, I can understand why she will see things and her mind will start playing tricks on her. Again, this can make a person, man or woman, go mad, run mad. Okay. Let's keep going here. I found in the house, they both threatened that they will make sure I suffer. I'm crying out if anything happens to me and my 3 kids, they're all behind it. And put a phone number there. Yeah, this kind of guy will do that. I believe he will do something stupid. Like if he's stupid enough to go remarry without breaking up his marriage first, yes, he will do that. But it's possible. It's more likely that it's because her mind is playing all kind of tricks on her, but it's the same thing. I mean, think about it. What I just said, and if he actually did it, or the mind is playing tricks on her, it's the same. No be juju be that. Same thing, right? But yeah, I have my sister here. Natu, what's up? How are you doing?
Her mind did not play any trick on her, beg, but you know our tuition is very strong. If you tell you something, that's what it is. That woman has been seeing them following her, they are following her.
She probably see herself walking in the middle of the street at night.
Unlike, bros, you know some of these girls don't have shame. They be checking your husband on the side. They be following you to be measuring you to see, okay, what are you having? What are you doing? What did he do for you? You have to do this for me. How is she? Is she good? No, you are better than her. All that rubbish.
All of it, nobody the same thing.
Not be juju be that.
Right?
Yep.
Nobody the same thing.
Yep.
Again, a person can run mad without you even doing anything to them if they go through this kind of betrayal. Right?
There's no how. I'm telling you, better believe that woman that they are following her. They are saying,
I believe they are following her now. No, I believe they're following her. They following on social media, of course. Now is the diabolic stuff that I said that I'm saying that even without it, I believe her, of course, right? But remember, Auntie Paul is saying, believe women everything they said. Right?
Listen, don't play with us.
Right? So the thing is that it's just that like I think people underestimate when a relationship completely go left. I think people underestimate it, and I think a lot of times when we talk about the diabolic juju and all this kind of stuff and we'll bring that into it, I think it's downplaying how much a destroyed relationship can destroy a person. You get what I'm saying? It must be that somebody did something. It must be their mother that did something. I said, maybe not. Maybe you just collected water. Maybe it's because you chop premium breakfast. It can destroy you. I don't like I'm not saying that doesn't exist, but it can destroy you.
Like honestly speaking, every way she has to react to this thing, her feelings are valid.
You said
like,
what?
You know,
oh yeah, of course.
Whatever way she react, yeah. Because this thing, right, you don't know how to react to it until it happens to you.
Exactly. Yeah, it looks like you came in late. I mentioned that earlier, that whatever she's seen, I think we were talking about it when she first discovered, when that text message came in. That text message that said, every time I see her,
I get sad.
Imagine that now. Right?
Yeah, and she held herself till they came back before she asked him. You have mind.
You know, it's different if you know that your husband was a cheater. You kind of like, it's different. It's kind of like, or maybe you were raised with all men are scum rhetorics, or every woman will cheat. It's a little bit different. If you feel like you're in a good family and everything is good and sweet and such a text message, if somebody completely collapses and slumps and by I won't be that surprised.
No, I will not be.
Yeah.
Like this is marriage is investment too.
Yeah.
Like this is like high investment right here. And you get one scene where they know they forgive Abby.
You said what?
This is not the scene of commission or omission. This is an intentional scene.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is, oh my God.
Yeah. So, if you have a wife like this at home, this is her with makeup on. This a little filter here, but she looks pretty normal. Some makeup here at a party. Oh, I'm there. If somebody was on your arm like this and you walk into a party, people will look twice, right? This is her right here, right? But again, if you're married to this person and they have kids for you, that's the last thing you're seeing. I hope you're seeing something deeper than her beauty, right?
Right.
I would hope that. So it's deeper than that. It's more so of sad. The word I'm looking for is the collapse of an empire. That's how I see it.
That's true.
Yeah, because when a man find himself in a place like this, because now we're talking about his legacy, his children. We're talking about, this girl is gonna be fine. She's gonna be all right. I pray that she'll be fine. But him,
when he first he'll collect.
Breakfast. He doesn't. He will never be able to trust. Like when he wakes up, right? See, people say juju. Even if there is no juju, he will wake up one day. He will never be able to trust this other chick. What's her name again, Bumi?
Never.
He can't trust her.
Somebody said elephant. Somebody said we should call her elephant.
Whoa, shame Bumi. I know.
Yeah.
No, we know the body shame. we just know that she's large. She's so large you can't hide her. I don't know why he thought he could hide that kind of human being for that long. I don't know what he was trying to do.
But you know what beats me? Like it was a whole wedding. It was a whole event. It's not like Hausa own that they even go and do the wedding that you're not supposed to. You can't. If you're not there, said it's fine. They just do the party and you're not there and finish, and they say these people are married. But it was a whole wedding.
Yeah.
It was a whole wedding.
Hashtag. Hashtag. You created, even people that normally wedding, they forget to do this hashtag. They would have finished the event. So like,
even me, I forgot hashtags.
This one, remember hashtag. Excuse me.
This is offense now, gold standard.
Yeah. So it's bad. It's even worse because we're talking about a man. I think if she engages proper counsel, she'll be fine. And her whole life is ahead of her. We're going to talk about a topic tomorrow. What's that topic, Seth, again? That topic is about, make sure you come here, everybody, tomorrow. Because tomorrow, we're talking about, let me find the title really quickly. It's called Single Motherhood is a Blessing. So we're going to talk about that tomorrow from all angles, from all perspectives, We got to talk about that, right? When you find yourself in circumstances happen in life, it's not your fault that you were married to a man who may have been hit with crisis. Maybe the wife was acting up at some point. I'm sure he has his reasons. I'm sure Pearl can tell us about 20 more reasons, right? But let's say you find yourself in that space of crisis, right? As a man, you couldn't handle it. Okay, maybe so that you don't self-delete, it's better for you to move on. But is there a way to move on without being messy like this, right? Is the question.
There's nobody that is perfect, but if you look at the whole story, they said at some point he was going to Nigeria every 3 months. He was going on business trip.
Yeah.
Right? I don't care how crazy your wife is. But for you to be able to take those trips, and her be able to take care of the family, hold the fort for you over here, means that she's doing a lot. You understand what I'm saying? So, like one of my counselors used to say, but if you want to sit and think what the other person is doing, can't you sit sometimes and think about what you were doing, what you're contributing that is causing that?
Yes.
So if she's acting in a certain way, it's probably something that you're doing that's fueling that. But he's been going to Nigeria every 3 months for business trip.
Yeah, if you're going to Nigeria every 3 months for business trip, as a man, listen, it's very hard for me to tell you not to do that. Maybe it's a legit business you're doing, right? Maybe it's for a good reasons. I have one of my friends that I covered the story. He wrote a whole book about our high school experience. He went to Nigeria every two weeks from London for 10 years.
For what?
As a banker. He worked for, did he work for Pricewater or something like that? Or FBMC or something like that, one of these major banks that he was working for in Nigeria. When the what do you call it? When the market collapsed in 2008, the first job he's got was with that bank in Nigeria, and he worked with them for until a few years ago when he decided to. He's now working for another bank in London, back again now with his family, right? But there are legit situations like that, right? Where you can be like, okay, but what if it's a legit situation? What I'm going to tell you is that be careful because you're a human being, right? Be careful because some of these girls, they could do anything. They could rub your hands with all kind of craziness. It happens. And you might lose your spirit for the next 15 years.
That's right.
It happens.
And when you get it back, will your family be there for you?
So you will now end up on Men of Prestige. Men of Prestige is watering down juju. It's like there's no such thing as juju, but
end up on a be.
Wait, nonetheless, and you're stuck, right? And you're now in a place where your children, look at those children, right? We took our children to this iFly thing last summer. It's a beautiful thing. You should go try it, by the way. But all these children right now, and you now have to deal with the idea that you hurt these children, right? And you can't figure it out because you have a whole new life.
These kids don't forget, right?
They'll never forget.
Kids don't forget. Like, they are having this thing recorded in their head, and I'm telling you, this man will have a lot of work to do to regain his this thing with this kid, to redeem himself.
Yeah, they will never forget. They will never forget. But here's the hard part of it, right? Now, they don't forget is one thing, right? How do they translate this into how they treat relationships in the future? Right? Will this potentially tamper with their trust level, their ability to be vulnerable in a relationship in the future?
Yep.
Right? Because naturally, if you've been hurt or your mother have been hurt in a certain way, you'll be looking over your shoulder.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want somebody else to do that to me. And that can effectively hurt your ability to be in a healthy relationship. Because who wants to be in a relationship and be looking over their own shoulder?
Nope.
Every time.
No. Nobody wants to do that.
Yeah. So, this is the new wife. This is this dude. I'm sure he has his own reason that he will probably try to come and tell us. And we will be here to cover it when it comes out.
You're not giving him benefit of doubt. If you come with, we better bring receipts that pass this one.
Listen,
bring receipts that pass
when it does come out with it, there will be lessons in it.
Okay?
For every story, see this story that we're telling right now, we just heard only one side of it. But from today that it went viral today, how many sides of the story do you think have been created? Even without this guy's story.
I agree with what you're saying, right? But another thing that I want you to understand is that we have had part of the story. Do you know how those voice notes that he has dropped are part of his own side that he didn't say, but we have access to it?
I mean, he's been blocking. He's probably trying to cover his face right now because he changed the name of his Instagram. He's trying to hide. So clearly, he probably doesn't have as much receipts as she does, right?
That's right.
But what other? He will need to come out and tell us that this wedding did not exist. He was the MC. He just happened to be the
MC.
He just happened to be the MC, right?
Yeah. The woman acting drama.
Not drama. I heard they were acting drama. It's a Nollywood movie. Maybe he will suddenly become an actor.
Movie.
From oil and gas to actor. Maybe that's what's going to happen, right?
But you know the worst one, Man of Prestige, that family. Oh my God. Like I understand, like, you're trying to support your kid, like you always have your kids back, but this one, this one first now, iPhone 14 Pro Max.
Yeah.
Voila, Pro Max now be this one.
Yep.
This is now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be rough over the next It's gonna be rough for that
I don't know how
family
the in-laws
for a
are going
while.
to redeem themselves too.
The in-laws are immediately, instantly, by default exonerated. They're not in the marriage. You can say all you want, you
Well,
know.
how you mean?
Huh?
How you mean they're not in the marriage?
They're exonerated. They're not in the marriage. Not directly like that.
In the new marriage that he went to do?
They're not.
They're not involved in it?
They're not in any of the marriages. They might have been at the wedding. I'm saying, you said, how can we involve them? Like they're involved by their opinions. If you want to
No,
hold
no,
their
no, 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 no.
opinions,
I'm just saying that they were involved in it now.
yeah, I
So
know.
if
But
they
what I'm
attended the
saying is
wedding,
that
what brought them there if they're not involved in the whole thing?
if he says I'm getting married, it's not working out with that auntie in the other side. I'm
And
still
so,
looking
but
to
okay,
break to
okay,
her.
okay, yeah, okay. So let's say that's my brother, right? And he
Mm-hmm.
comes to say he's getting married with so person because
Mm-hmm.
not working out with that woman. The first question you ask her is that, okay, he's not working out. What did you do? Did you take the net? Did you try anything?
You're assuming that I'm a child. I'm sitting down there with you. I'm not running
No,
around with oil and gas
no, no.
business.
Let's
And
assume. Okay, I'm not the mother. Let's assume I'm not the sister. Let's assume I'm the mother. You know, a mother can sit you down anytime, or she can call you to demand explanation. Okay, the mother calls him now and say, "Okay, so what happened? Tell me what happened with your wife." And he says things are not working out.
Mommy,
As a mother,
let me tell you. Sure, you understand your basmo?
no.
Okay, make I say it in English. Mom, it's just not working out. I can't do it. Listen, I'll tell you more about that
Okay
later.
now, but okay. If the mother wants to play devil advocate, she say, okay, let's assume that girl is my daughter. Did you do all the necessary? If it's not working out, are you guys separated? Are you
What do you
guys
mean she's
divorced?
your?
What did
What
you
do you
guys
mean?
do?
What do you mean she's your daughter? She's your daughter. I'm your son. I'm telling
No,
you
no,
something.
no.
You know, Mommy, I don't have
Hey,
time for. I don't have time. Let's talk
I
about this tomorrow,
understand.
Mom.
Okay, I understand, but the question I'm asking is, are you guys divorced? Are you guys separated? What did you guys do? Because your husband can marry another person.
We're working on it, Mom. But I'm gonna. I promise.
Okay,
I'll tell you
so
more
you're
about
not
that tomorrow. I'm coming back
okay.
tomorrow.
So if
We'll talk
you're
about that.
okay, I will wait for tomorrow. But that marriage child is on hold until you finish that one. Then you start a new one.
Tomorrow I couldn't make it. 2 weeks. I'm already in Yankee.
I shall
We'll
told
see
you
in
that
3
that
months
marriage
again.
is not holding. If that marriage hold, I will send talks to that place to go and destroy the place. So until you tell me how you finish this one before that one will hold.
Mama no get base for this matter. I'm telling you.
It go shock you. You never get mama will be gangster.
No,
Never get.
there are, but as always, I always assume best case scenario. The best case scenario here is we know for a fact that that woman, the mother, is not in the marriage. The other side of the extreme is that she's the one that cooked it and made and created this wife for him in Nigeria, right? We know that
And you
exists
know
too,
what's
right?
worst? If she didn't have kids, self, they'll say, oh, she doesn't have any kid, but she has like 3 kids.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know,
But she has 7.
As excuse and say, okay, we're making you're doing the marriage because it doesn't have
All she has 7 of them. She doesn't even have time for me like that. Bumi, how far now?
I'm fine. No.
Thanks for coming up.
Sister, I'm fine. I just wanted to tip you something that I'm with my sister on this one. The mother or the father can influence the outcome. They can't make him do what he wants to do. He's a man.
They can make you.
But if I'm the
Yes.
mother-in-law, I will call the woman and say, when your husband is with another woman, and I don't agree. See, you don't want to go through. You don't want. And the way I see it is that you don't want people around you. I don't know why. I'm speaking for Nigerian women or Nigerian parents. I don't want to see somebody go through the trauma I have gone through. For example, this situation is my mom. This situation, my mom is the first wife, and then my father moved to Abuja and eventually married a woman. Until tomorrow, he's denying it. But he lives in Abuja constantly. He comes to Lagos to see my mom once in a while. So are we stupid that where are you living? Are you living on Mars? Like seriously.
So we'll find out. So he probably settled and said they will find out, but I'm still not going to use my mouth to. I'm telling you, there's a lot of men like that.
But it's stupid. Look at it now. Like look at it. You are not with your wife. You're not your wife. Maybe you are with your wife in 365 days. You are with your wife maybe 30 days in a year. So the other time too, and you work in Abuja. We know this woman because the face is always coming.
They will tell you now.
You know what? My father has even taken me to see the woman. Or my colleague when I'm at the office. You see my colleague stay with her.
The auntie.
This
is your auntie.
So let me tell you how the outcome may possibly go for the kids of or Mrs. Oyindamola, they will be fine. You know that now they learn the hard way, so they will not, they will not be the one to, they won't be serving, they will not be served breakfast. Instead, they will be serving breakfast, because that's my case. Nobody served me breakfast. I was the one serving. If I see one pecan, you are out.
They will chop breakfast.
Unfortunately, it leaves you with doubt, but there are some things you can't control. So you learn to take charge of what you can control, and the things you can control, you work on it. Like, I will not sit down in a marriage and be, even if my husband is Dangote, I'll just sit down and cross my legs. So they work. I know that I'm not praying for it, but I know that anything can happen. Humans are, unfortunately, they're not predictable. So I'm working on myself constantly. I'm trying to control my environment. I'm not going to leave my womb and just be burning. So God forbid anything happen. No, I take control. I'm already forecasting. Unfortunately, that's the side effect. But you've learned to be street savvy. You've learned to, think four years ahead, 4 decades ahead, if possible. You're trying your best, but you can't control everything. But then you learn to be smart. So that's what I wanted to say for the kids, unfortunately. But they'll be fine. With therapy, they'll be fine.
Okay, with therapy. I like how you ended that with therapy. Because they might not be fine without therapy. Right?
But Ola, honestly, another thing that woman should thank God that she found out, even, I know that it went a little bit too far with the marriage, but she found out now. What if, like, he kept indulging her?
What do you mean too far with the marriage? What do you mean by too far with the marriage?
I mean, like, it has moved from the relationship stage to him marrying the other lady. You understand?
Oh, you talk about the lady in Nigeria?
Yes.
Okay.
So assuming if they have been into it for like almost 10 years and the guy have been indulging her and getting all the money that she's been like taking loans from the bank for his say, using the house as equity to like do whatever. And then after doing all those investments, she gets to find out. You know what I'm saying? Right. So it's a blessing and a curse for her at the same time that she found out. But so I just feel like she just can't have blessings.
Yes, absolutely. And that's part of what we're talking about tomorrow, because again, you can look at on any extreme of the sides and start to shame people, and you now think you can shame people into acting right. The truth is that extremes are extremes. There are single mothers. There are circumstances in life that if you isolate that circumstance, you'll be like, oh, this is a bad news. This is a terrible news. But ultimately it became a blessing in disguise, right? So there's also those, but we're in a space that we have to start spelling everything out. We can't just go in direction and say, we can't, especially as Nigerians, we can't afford to start blanketing everything into diabolic and juju. We can't do that. They exist. That's all I can tell you. What I can tell you is that majority of the issues that people are going through in relationships has nothing to do with that. What I can tell you is that mother-in-laws, monster-in-laws, they exist more so, not because they're wicked, is the natural order of things when you have sons and you're territorial. And if you lack emotional intelligence and self-awareness, you will become a monster-in-law. Even if you have been the victim of that in the past, you will become that. It's just, and you will justify it. You will just be like, no, I'm not being that. This girl is just wicked. You will justify that this girl is wicked. The other extreme of what you were saying now, right? Remember I was saying I'm giving benefit of a doubt. It's not exactly benefit of a doubt. I'm just on this extreme other end where I am saying I'm assuming best case scenario. Let's assume worst case scenario like you wanted me to, right? The worst case scenario is that the mother-in-law is wicked, right? That means she probably doesn't like the wife here in Yankee anyway. Maybe from day one.
Possible.
Right? She doesn't like, so when she's calling and she starts to report, she just pretends, hey, we will be weary. I'm gonna replace her. We will replace you. That is that not possible? We've seen that. Okay, I have personal experience with that. Okay, so my thing is that I was assuming worst case scenario. We can choose now to go and assume I was assuming best case scenario, which is usually the case. Don't put the power in the hands of an in-law. This is your marriage. You can engage all your energy in, was she wicked to me? Is this what, or you can say, you know what? I know I didn't like what she said. I have a feeling she was lying, but let me face forward, right? Because there's only so much energy that you have. Let me face forward. My husband has betrayed me. What do I want to do with the rest of my life, right? So that you can heal as fast as possible. For every additional human beings you had that you want to take offense for something they said, the longer it's going to take you for you to heal. Because again, these are spirits all over the place. These human beings are spirits. You'll be carrying those spirits around with you. And it's going to take a lot longer for you to heal. Because for every spirit you're carrying around like that, you're seeing another person that looks like red. You start protecting yourself, and you will miss out effectively on life by doing that.
I think it's just the pretense of it all. That's too much. You pretend too much, and then you think that, oh, they really love me, and you're reciprocating it. Especially, I know that Yoruba women firsthand, they can do my mom-in-law, my mother-in-law, they can do all those things. They can care, they can, mommy me, my mommy, or all those things. So I can imagine that she actually genuinely thought that they had her back. So
Right.
it was, yeah.
Or whatever she resented maybe a long time ago, she just doesn't remember that anymore, and she didn't expect it. She felt, and they are so far apart, people move on in life. Maybe they said something slightly or anything like that. We don't know. We don't know. The only thing we know right now is that she does feel that these people, they've hurt me. They were hiding, they knew all along. But when she was saying that in the text, I don't think she was only talking about she wasn't just talking about the in-laws. She's talking about even all our friends, that they knew something, that she was the only one that was in the darkness. I think that was more so of what she was saying, which again, this kind of betrayal will make you feel that way. You will feel like you're the only one, like your whole existence is a lie. I think that was more so of what she was saying. I think I didn't hear enough about the in-laws outside of the mother. She called about 2 times, and the brother brought him to the house to come and beg. That's about all I heard. That's it. There's worse of that can happen, and they still don't. They're not involved. They were just trying to stay out of people's business, right? If I had heard more, maybe I would be able to say, you know what? Maybe they are directly involved. This guy, listen, the man himself. Right? I don't allow people to come to me and say my mother just didn't like her. That's terrible. Like, that's terrible excuse. I don't allow people to tell me that. What do you mean your mother didn't like her? Your job is to sell what you like to your parents. They don't get to decide that for you.
Okay, I like that line.
Yeah, you don't just go there and say, "Mommy, she like it." That you're telling your mom that you're not a grown man. And let me play this, right? If you're telling your mom that you're not a grown man, she doesn't feel safe. She will try to protect you. What does that look like? She becomes an enemy to anything you pick. Now she's looking like, I want to protect him. Right? Because you're just not that man. You're not, and your mother won't tell you like this because she's still actively trying to protect you. Right? But I'm telling you right now that if you're going to your mother and you're asking permission, Aki left you. She like Kesha. If context, right? If this is the way you're moving, yeah, you deserve that you will create this kind of drama for yourself in the future. Because she will never be able to trust, because what is it that you don't know? You should know. You should like, this is my wife, So to the point that, but what if it goes wrong in the future? Yeah, as a man, you're willing to take a risk. You understand that life is a risk. You understand that nothing is guaranteed, but yet you're willing to say, Mom, that's my wife for life. Oh, but what if you're not divorced later on 10 years and they said they warned you about it? Why are they warning you about it? That means you were doubting and they help you doubt. Your mother especially will help you. She will get in doubt with you if you're in doubt, So I don't accept from men in general when they say, oh, but my mother didn't like her and that's why our marriage fell apart. I said, no, you were incompetent. You were an incompetent man and you shouldn't have been playing with adult stuff. Like, ere mode, this is not play, You need to know what you're doing. You need to be sure of it, even if you're wrong. That's part of being a man. Even if you can't see what other people say and they say, but you should all have other people have input and stuff like that. No, being a man means you're willing to go through this life knowing that you can get hit by a bus tomorrow and die. That sounds harsh. What do you want me to tell you? That's the reality of being a man, right? Anything else outside of men will protect. They're vulnerable of society. Will protect them. The courts will protect them. The courts will throw you under the bus to protect them if they have to. If they see marks on you, they may send you to jail for it. If you don't like it, go and change the laws. You created it. You build the society. You build civilization. Change it. It's going to take time. Men also understand that everything is a process. But you're being mean to men. You're like, no, I'm telling you as my brother, so you don't have unrealistic expectations set up by Auntie Pearl. It's not going to work. Lewek. Let me get last word from Bumi so that we can go and spend some time with our families.
Yeah, so great show. There's nothing really that you haven't elaborated on that I need to say. Other than I pray that, I just hope, I know I don't want to say I pray, I just hope that we learn to take people as face value and and when we see the signs, we just flee.
Believe
Just
them.
flee. Yeah, believe them. Yeah,
I
that's
can
all.
rock with that. I can rock with that. Absolutely. Yeah.
Thank
Thank you
you,
so
Mr.
much,
Ola.
Bumi. Thank you for coming up. Talk soon. Natu. Natu, you did, yeah?
Present, sir. I went to make Bolly.
I hear you. Let's get some last word from you because we have to be back
You
here
know,
tomorrow again.
like my sister said, honestly speaking, you can't. Most times there are signs all over the place. There are flags popping up, but because of we are suppressing that thing that our instinct is telling us, our feelings and thinking, oh, this person can't be this. So just like my sister said, you have to take people for face value, honestly speaking. And you have to be like at this point that we are right now, you have to be your number one defense this thing. So don't trust like for anybody to have your back and be like, oh no, I know this person cannot do this, do that. Nah.
Yeah.
And let's just live one day at a time. Honestly speaking, this thing hurts. I don't know how to explain it, but I just pray this woman gets better.
Right.
I
Definitely.
really hope she gets better.
I think from what I could see, the way she articulated herself and all that kind of stuff, if that translates to real life, I think she will find the answers and will find love again. And the way she also carries herself from just looking at her Instagram page.
Yeah, she looks like she's someone that has like so much emotional intelligence.
Right, it'll be rough, but this thing is it's nobody's mate. But I think she will figure it out.
Not be your mate.
Yeah. I think this guy should prepare for premium
tsunami.
He should prepare for premium collection. He should just hand out his collection plate. It's going to be so bad for him. They don't get away with it. It's just too bad, and more, not particularly because of this part of the story. I feel like he's done more damages to himself before he shows up like this as a story.
Yes.
And
of course now.
Yeah, everybody's concerned about this story. Allah, my dad, God will judge it. Like no, it's too late. This kind of person has done more damages to themselves before he shows up at the surface like this. You don't even have to do all of that. The only thing you should be doing from this is learning.
It's just like a wound that you go and put plaster and cover it.
Exactly.
You understand? You didn't clean it, you didn't treat it, you just put plaster and cover it. And then it will be growing inside, be going deeper. The day you open the plaster, I see something different.
Yeah, you don't get away with stuff like that. Even from a king's standpoint, your children, your legacy has been tampered with by your own hands. There's something incompetent about you that made you do that. It's not just in this aspect of life that is showing up. It's probably showing up in other areas of life, business, work, your properties. Look at that reckless behavior. You put the properties on the name of that girl.
Yeah.
That's
just like, are you okay? They'll say maybe she jazz him. Are you carry yourself good now?
You see, that's why we keep asking.
Juju be that?
Right? This is why when you say maybe you just said I can't deny that there's all kind of information around this that almost look like juju, right?
Because that's what the girls are doing now. They're just looking for all these guys abroad and see who they're going to catch.
Yeah, if Yahoo boys are doing juju, trust me, these girls are doing what they have to do to take over other people's lives. It is what it is. Thank you for your support always, Nato. I appreciate you.
All right, sir. Good night. I'll see you tomorrow.
All right, talk soon. Bye. All right, Pearl. It's a wrap. There's not much we can say to Pearl, but Pearl will continue to talk because she has an audience of 1.3 million people giving her that audience. So she's going to feel the need to say more gibberish. If the platform is reacting to it, we'll keep covering it. I'm here for it. I'm down for it, A 26-year-old, I stopped using that as an excuse. That's a grown-ass woman. She should be talking with some sense a little bit better than that. The worst part about this is, gentlemen, black men, Najama, if you did inside that comment, simping to this woman, heavy.
Your daddy.
Jesus Christ. Did you grow up in a household with a father? What happened? Jesus Christ. Omo. That one are juju. That one is juju. But I'm here. I'm patient, okay, with the conversation. Let's keep having the conversation. Let's keep having fun having the conversation. Let's keep dissecting, destroying talking points, okay? Talking points is nobody's mate, not even me, okay? Sometimes they will come with the start parties. I have to just calm down, listen for a couple of hours. Like, wait, for me to tackle this argument, it will make sense. It must make sense. Yeah, I'll just chill. Sometimes I just chill, wait long enough, they will destroy themselves with it.
You'll be mumu.
Yeah, but oftentimes, because of my patience, I'm able to address them in a way that they can receive it. The truth is that life, it's a beautiful thing. Don't miss out on life. Don't corner yourself into a pearl echo chamber, repeating your same. Like everybody in the chat, 900 plus people were repeating the same thing. At that point, you should know that. In this comments here, sometimes when people don't comment, I know they disagree with something. When they comment, they will tell me directly they disagree with something. When they do comments on something, just say, hey, I hear. And then the conversation, we have the conversations, right? So that you rub against me, I rub against you. It's not about right and wrong. It's about, hey, I can see from another person's perspective, right? Yes. And we want to keep it up like that because I feel like we have more to talk about when it comes to this. So we got to stay on point. I want to say shout out to D-Love. Thank you so much, D-Love. Thank you to Democracy. Thank you for Life with Natu. I think I'm missing one person. And thank you to D-Love. It goes a long way. These videos, when I do a live, let me give you let me tell you how much I appreciate this, right? When I do a live session, and let's say there was no super chat at all today, this video will make less than $1. Okay, less than $1 in ads. Those ads that run, right? So it means a lot when I don't care if it's $1 that you put in there. Thank you so much. It means a lot. It confirms to us that we're also bringing some value to the table. All right. So thank you so much. And shout out to Natu and Vicky, who I didn't get to talk to earlier. Shout out to Natu and Bumi for coming up here and chopping it up with me. I really want to say thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. All right. Yeah. So hopefully being enlightened and educated. I'll see you on the next show. Turn on your notifications. Hit that like button, share, subscribe. Turn on your notifications. I'll see you on the next show. Is supposed to be 5 tomorrow now. But again, things happen. Okay. So just turn on your notifications so that when I come on, you can see me, and stuff like that. Let's keep doing it like that. That's the best way I can do it to make sure I keep coming. Because sometimes I set the time and then I can't show up at that time, But right now, tentatively, we'll be here at 5 p.m. tomorrow. It's already scheduled. Go turn on your notifications on that video. I'll see you on the next one, and peace.
Your love that I've been missing. I miss all your hugs, your touching and kissing. Make love on the floor, the couch in the kitchen. One love enough, we done enough.